What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and I have been having a little bit of issue here with my setup this morning. So please let me know how I sound. We're going to be taking a look at the legendary fighter in his own right, Naoya Inoue. I want to take a look at some of his highlight fights and what makes him special as a fighter and unique today. We want to take a look at some Mexican fighters that he fought, Filipino fighters, things like that, to kind of give you a comparison of, you know, how he fights versus these styles and these type of fighters. So if you haven't already, click the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And like always, let's get right into this video. What's up, guys? I'm just going to do a quick mic check assessment. That sounds pretty good. All right. I got to see right now if my sound effects. Where the wall fight start?
Round one.
What was that?
Round one.
That's where it goes. All right. Let's get this show together. So, for educational purposes, we're going to be breaking down one of the top fighters we have today. How you doing, brother? In the building, loud and clear. Thank you, legend. How you doing, bro? Today we're going to be taking a look at Naoya Inoue and his style. And for educational purposes, I'm going to be putting up a video, and we're just going to let the video stream. In fact, this is a video that is playing online right now. I see Homeboy doing it. I want to talk about the same thing. So I'm about to put up the video right now, and we're gonna like look at what makes Naoya Inoue special. And you're gonna see for yourself the level of competition, the guys that they put him in against. Sometimes when you're looking at your favorite fighter or your young prospect coming up the ladder in the sport of boxing, you notice that your fighter's doing great, but the other guy is not nowhere near his level. And although you want to give that fighter credit for the victory, you stay silent and you act like the other guy was on your guy's level. That's kind of like what we do sometimes to support our fighter because we like that guy. Now, I'm here to tell you right now, all this speculation and all these accusations about Naoya Inoue's competition not being at the top level. And I'm like, you guys must not watch his fights. Because the guys that they put him in against, they might not be household names. But tell me what your eyes see. Do you see that type of fight where the guy is so outmatched? Huh? George Camboza went in the ring with the Boys Club champion just the other day. Huh? What'd he do with him? 12 rounds. You're supposed to finish a guy like that. He couldn't even do that. So when you look at the level of competition, when you look across the man that's standing in front of you, can he fight? Is he showing that he's a smart fighter? It's just that he's outclassed in this one. There's levels to this. Naoya Inoue is proving he is the best fighter. You might be good. You might be great. But Naoya Inoue is elite. It's a 1% category that a lot of times these guys and fans, they try to lower the bar in order to put their fighter's name in with a great one. You keep comparing these other guys to Naoya Inoue, that's why you can't see him. Because you keep thinking these guys are supposed to be on his level, but when he's beating them, now you're calling his opponents tomato cans. they're not on his level. He's proving that, but you can't see it. You can't see it because you're not allowing yourself to identify what it means to be an elite fighter. Let's check out some of his highlights. Let's check out what makes Naoya Inoue such a remarkable talent in this day and age in boxing. Let's take a look. This is Naoya Inoue right here. And this is like truly one of his starting fights. This is, I believe, forget what it is. It's like his second or third fight. He's really young here. Naoya Inoue, I believe he's like 19 years old. You know, he's fighting a grown-ass man here. Let's check this out.
โอ้ยจังหวะบล็อกทันนะครับสกุลนี้ซ้ายนะเว้ยเบียดเข้าไปครับเอาเลยครับแหมมีขวานะครับ
ต่อย6ชนะน็อก5ครับชนะคะแนน1
ดูแล้วยากมากเลยนะครับไม่รู้จะสูญ
มอเตอร์ประเทศไทยจำกัดนะครับซูโปรเจกต์กรุ๊ปผู้ผลิตและจำหน่าย
ขวามาอีกแล้ว
แล้วก็พริ้วครับจังหวะออกขวา
108แล้วครับอยู่ได้ไม่นานครับ112
Nice.
ติดหมัดเร็ว
Down to the body.
ผ่านห้างขายยาตาเสือที่เป็นตัวจำกัดผู้ขายเส้นตราหัวเสือสากลโคนมหนองโพราชบุรีจำกัดในพระ
โอ้โหได้ดูครับดู
ก็มีอาชีพให้แล้ว
ครับ
เอา
โอ้โห
แหมฮุกซ้ายเอาไว้ครับ
ไม่ใช่ว่าจะให้เขาจานเขาสามารถเล็กเลย
อย่าเพิ่งยกสามนี่ต้องยอมนี่กะไล่ให้อยู่นี่
เอาจะอุ้ยอัปคัทครับหลวมไม่โอ้เนี่ย
M150นะครับถล่มพลังโลกครับ
มาดูนะครับ เมื่อสักครู่ปลายยกนี่โนเว
ตัว
สู้แล้วนะครับโดนโอ้โหโดนสู้แล้ว
น็อกเราอย่างเดียวนะครับ
จะน็อก
อุ้ยนี่แหละครับโอ้โห
โดนหน้าผมว่าพอทนไหวแต่โดนโอ้ย
นี่แหละครับ
เพราะว่า
ยังเอียงไป
ต้นยกด้วยนะครับ
ต้องป้องกันไว้ก่อนครับมีสวนมีบวกใกล้หมดยกแล้วบล็อกไว้ก่อนโอ้ยโต้โดนอีกทีนึงเอาแรกไปเลยครับหุกขวานะครับเต็มครับ
ก็ตู้เนี่ยคงจะ
Whoa. Let's not get past ourselves too. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, right? Did you see that shit right there? That's a 19-year-old kid. That was a 19-year-old Naoya Inoue in the ring right there, doing boxing shit that it would take me years to teach a kid his age. It would take me years to teach him how to move like that. My man was moving like that, coming straight out the gate. He was well polished. He understands things about boxing. Let me tell you, man, his distance management is remarkable. I just want to rewind that. There was so many things going on in that fight right there. But I also just want to give you an opportunity to see it. I want to break a lot of it down, but I don't really want to interrupt so much. I want to give you an opportunity to see him. Right here, he's going in against Emmanuel Rodriguez in the World Series of Boxing. And what's about to take place here is a real, it should be a crime, right? He brutalizes this man. But in all fairness, Emmanuel Rodriguez's coach tried to play like a bully tactic on Naoya Inoue's father, team, Shingo, the Naoya Inoue team. Naoya Inoue saw the video. He caught wind of what happened. His father really didn't want to let Naoya Inoue know that because he didn't want no distractions. He didn't want his son doing too much. But it got to Naoya Inoue's ears anyway. He saw the video. So he comes out. And not only is he showing the world his skills in this moment, but he's also sending out a message. Don't ever touch my dad. This is the consequences. This is an undefeated fighter right here, Emmanuel Rodriguez. He came into the fight 19-0, World Series of Boxing. The IBF title is on the line to advance in the tournament. All the chips are on the table. This man has never been knocked down or knocked out in his career. Like I said, 19-0. He gives out the knockouts. The Puerto Rican fighter, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Naoya Inoue, was also undefeated coming into this fight. Let's check out to see what happened.
Oh, this is unbelievable for Inoue.
Oh, they didn't even show the first one. That was bad. That was bad footage right there. They didn't even show the first knockdown. I thought they did. I don't know what they got on this tape. I didn't really have it like planned forward. Now they just jumped into the Nonito Donaire fight. But you can go look at it. The Emmanuel Rodriguez, you saw the blood on his nose. That's what he looked like afterwards. They stopped that fight. It was a brutal knockdown in the second round, and then he pieced him up some more, put him down 2 more times, I believe it was. It was devastating. Emmanuel Rodriguez learned a valuable lesson, him and his team, and it's in, the message through the sport of boxing, that if you sign up to a Naoya Inoue fight, fight me. If you got anything to say it to me. If you want to push anybody, push me. Don't touch my dad. He sent a very important statement out to the world of boxing that this is a combat sport and we should treat it as such, and we should have honor when we step in the ring with the men that you face. So he's about a lot of honor. Naoya Inoue, he doesn't really play that shit. He didn't come out talking shit after the dude tried to put his hands on his father. He had nothing to say. The only thing he had to say was, I'll do my talking in the ring. This right here in particular, you're going to see on the screen right now, is the legendary Nonito Donaire, Naoya Inoue fight 1. This was at the closing final of the World Series of Boxing. And I have to admit, shout out to Nonito Donaire in this time when they said he was washed. When they said after the fight, they said this, not leading into the fight. After the fight, they said this, because leading into the fight, Nonito Donaire was going on a world title run again. He was going for the belt, right? And I just want to point out this small detail. They said Nonito Donaire was 36 years old. He was old, washed. He was a top-ranked fighter, once on the pound-for-pound list, very highly ranked, right? He comes into this fight right here, and they said after Naoya Inoue beat him that he beat an old, washed-up Nonito Donaire. And this is the point that I want to bring up, okay? Take Naoya Inoue out of the equation, out of the World Series of Boxing. Who wins it? And shut the hell up. He was good enough to be at the final, and had it not been for Naoya Inoue, Nonito Donaire walks away with that tournament. So how the hell was he washed? I don't understand. Let's check it out. In fact, with your own eyes, tell me what you think about Nonito Donaire. How good was he on this night? Did he look washed? Tell me what your eyes see. He already broke his bone. Damn, this fucking video is whack, bro. This video is whack as hell, bro. They don't show much because they be copywriting a lot of those fights, like the Donaire fight and the Ramirez fight. Damn, this video is whack. I should have played it through. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because most of y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, that was the fight to see. It was like fight of the year or some shit like that. It was an incredible matchup between Naoya Inoue and Nonito Donaire. Now, a lot of people said in that fight that Naoya Inoue was tested, and his warrior spirit was on full display. With a fractured orbital bone, not being able to see him, had to cover his eye in the fight, with a fractured nose that he sustained in the 9th round, because he could no longer see Nonito Donaire's punches from round number 2. So he went 10 rounds with a fractured orbital bone. Most men would have conceded in the fight right there. They'd have gave up. I'm done. I'm finished. I can't even see this man. He was looking. There was no quit in Naoya Inoue's eyes. No quit. He wasn't looking for a way out. He was looking for solutions to his problem. He put his glove in his eye and he said, let's go. I'll fight you like this. With one eye, I'll fight you. Not only did he fight Nonito Donaire, he won the fight. He won the fight. A lot of people say that the blistering style of like a Nick Ball at 126 and that he has like these mad hooks, short time, but dude, this is Naoya Inoue at 19 years old. This is his second professional fight against this guy right here. He blisters, forward power, big monster check hooks. He's just a compact, short, strong fighter. 19-year-old Naoya Inoue in his second fight. Let's look at Naoya Inoue's composure, how calm he was in the moment, and how he took care of a Nick Ball type fighter.
This
fucking video sucks. Bro, he lays him out. This video sucks. Mr. Miyagi, how you doing, brother? This fucking video sucks, right? Had I known all this, I probably would have put it together a better video. What you saw there, what you were about to see there, was Naoya Inoue going to lay him out. That's what was going to happen. Here, let me get somewhere in the video where it's a better fight. Okay, this Mexican fight right here was good. In actuality. Let me see. Where are we in the video here? Oh. Look how young Naoya Inoue is right here. Oh, that body shot downstairs. Vicious.
20歳のこの怪物井上尚弥井上選手とも左にも見られましたが井上がやガードを固めてのディフェンスに変わってきた20歳の井上先週の水曜コーナーがスタジアムの佐野サイドには鈴木アナウンサーイラのお父さんとなる慎吾さんから飛んでいます
Pay attention to Naoya Inoue's footwork. He's remarkably young in this fight right here. I think this is his third professional fight right here, right? Because he fought the Filipino guy for the first fight. He was 16-0. Then he fought that stocky Nick Ball looking type dude. Yo, he lays him out with a check hook, right? One shot punch knockout. It's beautiful. He just and then he bounces back to his corner after he knocks him out. He was just so composed. But Naoya Inoue was a lot more dangerous when he was younger. When I noticed that when Naoya Inoue was 19, 20, 21, 22, he was getting guys out of there like this. And they must have told him, they were like, yo, you got to chill. You got to stop like knocking these guys out. You got to get, make it seem like somebody can beat you type shit, right? Because he was really a monster. Now he's, just as great. But he's on some setup shit. He's setting you up now. Like he was doing that young, but he was just a monster, man. Check him out. These guys are. This fight right here. This is the guy that I compare to Junto Nakatani. He fights just like Junto Nakatani, right? Nakatani, right? Him. This is what's his name? He was a big Japanese hopeful there. They barely showed his fight on YouTube. For some reason, the Japanese people won't what was his name, man? Ryaguchi, I think his name was. I'm sorry if I'm messing up his name. He was supposed to be the next Japanese star. Naoya Inoue put an end to all that shit. I don't know what they're going to show you, but...
出てくるところに今ジャブをこの田口にしていました。
このラウンドの前は強気でいけそれしかないという指示を出していました。はい。
動く位置もいいですよね。
さあただここは接近戦だ。
ここはチャンスになるんじゃないかと思いますね。
はい。さあ見切っていきました井上尚弥です。右のここアッパー。いきます。さあこの中盤からですけれどもキンゴさんからは集中という言葉を受けてこの第6ラウンドに入っています。
何もなんですよね。
はい。ただパンチを返す。井上が前に出た。下げるか。田口はただ引かない。さあ田口はただそれでも引かない。井上はそこに。さあいよいよ試合は終盤へと入っていきます。 この田口は日本この試合になるか左フック井上の左ただ田口がはい左フック井上の左フック
そうですね、井上も気が強いんで、田口選手が打ってくるとやっぱり打ち返しますね。
橋本さんにはもしかするとなってない可能性はありますよね、この両者。
そうですね、1ラウンド1ラウン
デビュー4戦目の日本タイトル獲得なるかという青い黒、しかもその2人が4戦連続 KO で日本タイトルを獲得しました。井上が詰めるアッパー直哉ゴールが倒すしかない。ただ内山さん、その倒すパンチというのはこの赤い黒ボクシングの技術でそのテクニックで観客を魅了する、そんな前に出る井上引かない田口、さあ倒しに行くその戦いの末にどちらがヒーローになるとともに拳を重ねる井上が出ます。
井上下がらないですもんね。
下がりませんね。
今度下がらないですよ。
Oh, they were exhausted.
この最終ラウンドは見ました。
いやもう倒しに行ってましたね。
Inoue Naoya versus Jerson Mancio.
Yo, that was an exhausting battle right there. That was a back and forth affair. That fight was a lot better than like the little bit of highlights you were seeing there. Ryoguchi did a lot of good work. I think that was for that fight in particular was for the Oriental Japanese title, like their main title. Kind of means like out of all the Japanese fighters in that weight division, you were the man if you had that belt. So you get that belt and then it puts you in position, you know, or should give you the courage to say, I can compete with the top guys. And as such, and Mr. Miyagi, you're right. That referee should have stopped that first fight against Naoya Inoue in the World Series of Boxing. We all saw it, man. And I don't know if most people caught it in the moment, right? But that was at least 20 seconds, bro. He bumped Naoya Inoue with his belly. He went boom like that. And Naoya Inoue bounced off the referee. Go check it out. Yo, Nonito Donaire did it in he ran around the ring like halfway. Like he started here and he ran all the way to this corner over here. Then the referee walks up. 2, 3. I'm like, what you mean 2, 3? We're at like 8. He gave him a lot of time. He gave him a big lifeline. But Naoya Inoue, man, then that fight right there in particular, the Nonito Donaire fight, right? Let me tell you guys something, right? That opened up a can of worms, that Nonito Donaire tape, right? Because Nonito Donaire was saying, I would have knocked you out with that punch I broke your orbital bone with had I not had them padded winning gloves. Naoya Inoue said, I'm wearing padded anyway, these gloves, because I'm doing it to help you. The reason why I wear padded winning boxing gloves, Naoya Inoue, I don't want to kill you. I just want to knock you out and beat you up. I hit hard enough. And Nonito Donaire said, no, I request that we wear Horse Reyes boxing gloves. Everlast. Right? Or Reyes. And he wanted those type of gloves. And then Naoya Inoue said, agreed. I'm doing this to protect you. Yo, the damage that man took in that fight, I hope they got it. You'll see. Hopefully they'll show it a little bit. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Let's see what they got here.
A crushing body shot knockout win.
They didn't even show that. Oh shit, this is the Adrian Hernandez fight. This is young Naoya Inoue. 5 professional fights coming into this fight, fighting an undefeated champion here. He's been champion for over 4 years, never knocked out in his career. This is a 19, 20-year-old kid right here in the ring with this guy with only 5 professional fights.
この井上戦に乗り込んできたという状況。こうやって振ってくるとこのカウンターのチャンスある。非常に捉えています。 強いというふうにここは距離でのボクシング、接近戦は相手の5秒なので避けたいと。そしてこれ井上の相手の左もかわして今度は左のダブル。これ村田さんかけられないんでしょうね、チャンピオン。
いい展開ですね。
はい。まだ今日がプロデビュー6戦目という回のベルトを取れば日本ボクシング史上最初、おそらくこれは有効だとしてくれた。正解。ディフェンスして戦前の井上陣営ですが、今のディフェンス井上のその力の前にここまでチャンピオンが圧倒されています。左アッパーでもチャンピオンが下がる。チャンピオン出ようとしてくるそのチャンピオンの気持ちを今井上のこの拳がへし折りつつあります。チャンピオンもこれ聞くまでもなく前に出るしかないとも思ってるでしょうから、勝負にはボディに力を込めてきますチャンピオン。しかし村田さん予想してましたか？
予想してましたよ。
あ、そうですか。
してますね。
はい。
あんまりもらわない方がいいですよ。
誘い込むか、ポジションはあまりよくありません。これ受けてます。これも後ろには下がります。今ちょっと一瞬下がりました。この試合
不要に動かしちゃダメですよ。
はい。こんなレアツーだ。村田さん、なんでしょうね。
やっぱりね、勘がいいですよね。そうですか。あと思い切りなんです。戦ってほしい。
はい。このラウンドもちょっとおもらしいがありましたね。ここはボディで、これはガードが今からちょっと被弾するところもあります。井上。倒したいと思いもあるでしょうか。はい、どうぞ。
インターバル間にですね、マッサージ、そしてアイシングをして、
もう減量前の体と減量後の体ではもうちょっとこれから戦い続けるのは厳しい。
パンチ力ですね。
なるほど。はい。
今まではないです。
はい。
こういう感じのある選手。
左を差します井上尚弥。負荷を言わせずに右ロック。
Inoue Naoya versus Witawas Basapian.
Whoa, 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 wait. We can't go any further because I just want you to point out to show you guys. We were, we're taking a look at the guys that Naoya Inoue fought. That's a Mexican fighter right there. Adrian Hernandez came into that fight. I believe he was 29-2 at the time in the fight with Naoya Inoue. That was a Mexican style fighter, a tough, durable, undefeated fight. He not undefeated, not being knocked out fighter because he was 29-2 coming into that fight, right? I don't think Adrian Hernandez was ever knocked down in his career or knocked out at all, right? And it goes to show when the pressure, you guys saw it. It was like relentless pressure, the way the Mexican fights. He was in Naoya Inoue's face. Naoya Inoue was exchanging with him. He was going on in the inside. He was fighting long when he needed to. He was bouncing very well off the balls of his feet. He was darting in and out. Yo, and like good fighting technique. You know what I'm saying? Naoya Inoue right there in that fight. There was a lot to break down in that fight. But I'm going to continue to let the film roll. Here goes this guy right here going to fight Naoya Inoue. This is going to be round one, pun intended. Yo, bounces off the rope like, yo, I'm about to bust this Japanese dude's ass. He's just stretching right now. He has no idea the danger that he's in. He has no idea. None. He's leaning on the rope. This is just going to be another day in the office. I'm about to bust this dude's ass. He has no idea.
A confident title defense, finishing the fight in the 11th.
This is a Filipino fighter.
โดนครับดูฟอร์มแต่คิดอย่างเดียวยันใส่ให้หมดครับคือแพ้ชนะอีกครับเก่งท็อปนี่ไงเก่งท็อปโอ้โห
ก็ต้องเชียร์กันครับยังไม่
ลุ้นแล้วเอาเลยครับบวกเลย
กำนันตุ๋ยไตรรัตน์จุรินทร์นายกอบตหนองน้ำใสที่จะเป็นประธานจัดงานวันเกิดให้หลวงพ่อรวย
คราวนี้เอาบ้างตัดลำตัวแม่จุกแล้วนะครับ
อะไรต้องยอมรับเลยนะครับจริงๆแล้วลงไปเลยก็ชุดหลังกรรมการจะยุติ
ยาสามัญประจำบ้านแผนโบราณ
มาชมกันต่อนะครับยก 7
He's like, referee, please save me. What the fuck you doing standing there? Don't you see this man putting his hands on me? Hey, yo, step in. Yo, he puts his punches together well, man. He puts 3, 4, 5 piece combinations together, Naoya Inoue. doesn't he?
ครับใช้โครงก็ยังลุกขึ้นมาสู้ต่อเอาตัวรอดมาได้ ต้องดูนะครับเราด้วยนะ
Oh, good shot.
ในยกหน้าครับ
ครับขอบคุณบริษัทโตโยต้ามอเตอร์ประเทศไทยจำกัดซูโพติกกรุ๊ปผู้ผลิตและ
That body work is crazy.
PS แบตเตอรี่เครื่อง
นี่ตัดลำตัวดูอีกแล้วครับโอ้ยแหมโอ้โหเอ้าโอ้
คนจริงๆนะครับ
อ้าวกรรมการยังไงครับตัวนี่แหละครับโดนย้ำเข้าไปครับ
ผู้กรรมการหยุดเลยครับ
That's enough. You just getting beat up. This is right here, Omar Narvaez. You see, you gotta. I hopefully they show a lot of this fight, but let me talk a little bit about that last fight with the Filipino guy, right? That body work Naoya Inoue was doing, you saw how he was darting in and out. He was putting his combinations together. He wasn't scared to take a punch. He was in the inside, mixing it up with him. And it right there, Naoya Inoue showed his selection of punches. He showed you that he's not just a guy working off the jab type dude. It's got like basic. He used a variety of punches to get to him, to break him down. This guy right here, this is Omar Nieves, right? I believe his name was Omar Nieves, right? At the time he came into the fight, he was 43-1. 43-1. Now you got to remember, right? Actually, did I say? Yeah, Naoya Inoue comes into this fight right here. This one was at 115, right? He only had 7 professional fights. This was his 8th professional fight against him. He had a record of 43-1. The only fight this man ever lost, he went 12 rounds with Nonito Donaire, the Flash. That's it. He lost a 12-round decision to the Flash. That's the only time he's ever tasted defeat. Okay? He's never been knocked out, right? Okay. They offered him the contract. You gotta understand what was being offered. When Omar Narvaez looked at who was fighting him next, he said, here it is. Okay, who's my next opponent? This guy right here. Naoya Inoue. Who the hell is this guy? He's got 7 professional fights. He's 21 years old? He was a world champion down at 108. He defended the belt 1 time. What's he look like? That's his picture. Sign me up. I'll take the fight. I'll take it. Boy. Let me tell you something. It's just hard to believe. Like, I can imagine what that conversation sound like. Like, here I am. I'm a decorated champion. I got 43 fights. I only lost once in my career. And now you guys want me to beat up this 5'5" kid with 7 fights. And you're telling me that this guy is worthy? How much money are you going to pay me? I'll take it. Let's see what happens.
Inoue Naoya versus Omar Andreas Narvaez. One of his most legendary performances.
What? Did you not just skip by the Omar Narvaez fight? You dirty bastards. Had I known that, man? Anyway, let me narrate it, because apparently they can't show it. It's probably copyrighted. You know, Omar Narvaez probably filed charges to anybody to watch that fight. He doesn't want to. He's like, listen, I want that shit copyrighted. I don't want the world watching it. Yo, he fought well in the fight against Naoya Inoue, and Naoya was just a step ahead of him the entire fight. He showed his real boxing skill on that fight. In that fight, he really showed that a veteran fighter, you're not supposed to just outsmart a guy like that. You got to understand, a guy with 43 professional fights, a world champion, he knows where he's safe in the ring. He knows how far you are away from him. And, you know, he studies you. If you burst in, he's going to know. He's going to know that he did something wrong. These are world champions. They got world championship training. And he's well over the mark with 43 fights, saying that he didn't have experience. I guess a guy that only had 7 professional fights, where was the experience at in that fight? Who did it favor? There was no way Naoya Inoue, a kid, was supposed to go in that ring and do that to Omar Narvaez like that. There's no way. I would have lost my money. I would have betted everything that what I saw should not have happened. And he took that man apart and walked off with his belt. And that was just the beginning of what we knew. We soon found out the legend of Naoya Inoue. Those were just some of the small, remarkable things. Call them small if you will. You know? That me calling them small is me being sarcastic. Because truly what he did, by this time he had already moved up, and he would have completed. He would have already moved up and been a 2-division world champion in only 8 professional fights. By the time he goes up and he fights Jamie McDonald, that's when things, the real legend of Naoya Inoue truly kicked off. And let's see if this video helps me out in any way. This is another Mexican fighter, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Inoue Naoya.
That's basically how I see the fight going with homeboy coming up right now. Roman Cardenas, right? That's how I see him. At some point in the fight, in my head, like I see the fight starting off cool, right? At some point, I'm going to see he's going to be trying to survive. He's not going to, like, Naoya Inoue takes everything away from his opponents. They go in there, good game plan. They're like, I'm going to initiate my attack. And in a few minutes, in a few rounds, all of a sudden, they forgot what they were in there trying to do. And they're retreating backwards, trying to survive. They're just, like, reacting now. They're no longer sitting themselves, working, doing what they were supposed to do. Everything they practice in training camp seems to go right out the window when they're fighting the kind of pressure, the kind of power. He makes you think about other shit. He hits you up top. You're like, oh, man, I can't let him hit me with another shot like that. And you leave your body vulnerable. Now you're just thinking about blocking his shots rather than executing what you worked on in the gym. And a few minutes after that, you're just trying to survive. You're just trying to throw one big punch at a guy coming forward. And truly, sometimes you can see in these guys, you can see their expression before the fight. You know, you can see the fire in their eye and the weigh-in. You know, they're like, no, they don't believe that guy right there is going to beat me up. They're looking at him. They're like, nah, it's not going to happen. It's not going down. And you can see in their eyes in the moment, sometimes I can like catch the moment when he breaks them. When they realize they're in over their head. They're outmatched, they're outgunned. And I think what, keeps most of these fighters in the fight is the embarrassment of quitting. These guys are warriors and they consider themselves warriors. I'm pretty sure that these guys said in some of these big fights, you're gonna have to kill me to beat me. Naoya Inoue told them, nah, I'm not gonna have to actually kill you, but I'm gonna give you that beating you came for. And soon, these guys they look like they don't want to be in the ring with him anymore. A lot of fighters went in the ring very confident. In a very small time, they realized, oh shit, I fucked up.
Versus Karun Jerupian Lert.
これだけ、強いパンチをもらってますので、頭も
チャンピオンかなりやりにくさはあるんじゃないでしょうかね。中に入っていきます。
はい、そして練習の時にも少し腰を痛めていたそうで、その影響も
He works off his jab very good, huh?
そういった中でのこの戦い方だったんですね。
そうでしょうね。本来
チャレンジャーサイド森アナウンサーのリポート。
まあチャレンジ
コンパクトにコンビネーションを打ち込んでいくチャレンジャーの鉄腕ボールですが、井上が次々と手数を出していきます。
10秒。すごい。
聞こえた。相手の心をへし折る。
もう効いてますもんね。
右のストレート、村田さん。
これ勝負かけてるんですよ。名古屋もスタミナ使って、勝負かけてるところなんで、もしこれ倒れない。
公平。殺人対決の始まりです。
This is a good fight right
Inoue
here.
Naoya versus Kohei Kono.
Kohei Kono. This
The
was a
experienced
battle.
Kono couldn't withstand the pressure. TKO victory.
さあ右のアッパーも出してきました。一つポイントにするもんなんですが、
井上君は、
右のフックだ。なんと河野
今の、1ラウンド目よりをかなり、
倒さなくてはいけないと話しているのが河野公平。あっという間に2分経過。いや前に出ている河野。冷静。さあボディーから左上直哉。その距離感をこの第1ラウンドで掴んでか。右のショートアッパー。さあ河野がボディー。井上直哉を下がってる。そしていいラウンドで決めようというそんな意識も感じますよね。
そうですね、
腰を打ち合います。すごい戦いになりました日本。はい。
感じだとボディばっかね、集中してたら上も今度狙われますからね。
そうですね。今は上のパンチを、今度は左のボディを返して河野を追い詰めていくか。右を返してくる井上がさらに攻め込んでまたボディ。上直哉4度目の防衛戦。相手は
同じぐらい効いてしまうので、
そうなんですね。
だからボディのダメ。
ここは井上の連打。チャンピオンの重い重い一発が、
前に出た方が井上はやりづらいという。
飛び込んでの右河野。
効いたからといって下がればもう、
右のボディ。いやー河野もで
わけもしっかりしてますしね。
はあるんでしょうね。
とにかく強くなった自分を見せたい、そんな思いで井上尚弥は今日の防衛戦。ただ今年2回戦った防衛の話を井上尚弥がしていました。ただただ井上は強かった、そう思わしたい。おそらくこれなんでしょう、この距離というのは。
まあ冷静に見てるんで、パンチをもろに
愚直なまでにパンチを重ね、そして思いよく緑のトランス河野公平が距離を詰める。さあ河野公平、こちらはプロ43戦アッパーというのが一つ。
1ラウンド目からね、ちょこちょここう
そしてカウンターを取っていけと。なるほど、そういう指示を接近したい。いやー接近して、そして右やそして左。山田選手、4ラウンド
決意を決めた、腹をくくった戦い方。
今は右が2発。さあボディのそしてまた前に出ます。河野が前に出てきた。井上尚弥、井上は消えるか。右だ。井上尚弥。
Inoue Naoya versus Ricardo Rodriguez.
This is going to be Ricardo Rodriguez, another Mexican fighter. What was that? How many Mexican fighters that we saw him fight already? 3, right? At least we got to see them, right? There was a couple that were cut out or whatever. But if they're going to show them, hopefully they do, and they don't show like a second and blink out again. I don't know what they're going to show. But this is another Mexican fighter he's fighting against. So when you're thinking about, has Naoya Inoue, has he fought this kind of fighter? He's always fighting Japan. Now, that's where the money's at. And Mexican fighters do go travel out there. But I think this fight right here, in fact, might be one of the fights he fought in America. That I would have to go look up to see what fight? He fought Jason Maloney in America. He fought Michael Desmarinas in America. I gotta look this up. I would have to look it up. I know he fought the dude, the Brit in the British thing, the Jamie McDonald. He fought him out there out there, and that wasn't in America. But anyway, oh, he fought that Puerto Rican dude, Narvaez. He fought he had the Puerto Rican on the side of his trunks. He made his coach throw in the towel. That's right. Those are the three. He didn't fight no Mexican dude in America, but it goes to show you that he has fought Mexican fighters, and that's what I wanted to show today, to see so that we could study his style, that Japanese style that he has, created, how it fares against all other styles. And that's what we're taking a look at. You be the judge. You be the judge. You guys are the judges today.
A brutal third-round knockout.
Oh, they didn't show it. But this is the one I'm talking about with the Puerto Rican dude look, I'm talking about him. And they use him. Nieves.
Wants to wait a little bit to punch sometimes. Punch in between.
Is obviously you can get caught with a clean shot. Good shot.
Nieves, come on, baby.
Damn. So he has had one knockdown scored against him, although that's his game. Now he goes downstairs and comes back up. You go, boy, he hits like a lightweight. And that's a compliment. Bothered Nieves with that hard right hand off the jab. Nieves. The guy coming overwhelming offense anyway. Placement rather than power. Now combinations. Warning clap and thought it was the bell.
That saved Nieves.
It's called the monster. When a guy has fast hands, a good jab, and
saw the target and adjusted the arc of the punch as it was traveling through the air.
Punches and doesn't always use kind of classic technical defense.
Discouraging to Nieves.
You can happen
toward the end of the last round, and you can see Nieves.
Sometimes the game plan can go out the window quick to extend yourself and try to implement tight punches. He'll throw a jab, he'll throw a lead right hand, then he'll
tight puncher until he gets his guy hurt, and then he throws in combination.
I like that.
Plan's not working, but come up with a better one right now.
I mean, Nieves is a tough kid, but he is taking a lot of punishment because when you're in the position of Nieves, motivate him, and Ram is a tough and unenviable.
Filed in the Wall Street Journal. Anyway, it seemed to me punishment from the previous round.
Nieves, good.
In an exchange.
Yo, this
37 coming in. He's throwing 41 jabs per round.
Listen, this Nieves kid was tough, bro. He was a decent fighter, man. He got called for this fight right here, and he trained his heart out. He was just in with Naoya Inoue, that's all. Probably he's going to go down as one of the greatest fighters. He might be in a different conversation when it's all said and done, like the type of conversation, the argument to the best to ever do it. There are only 1% of fighters in that room under that topic. But Nieves here did a lot here. He truly fought his heart out, and you can see it. He hit Naoya Inoue with some good shots, and I wanted to point that out too as well. That Naoya Inoue is willing to step in and exchange with you. He'll take your punch, but can you take his? He's not afraid to go in on the inside and mix it up with you at all. And this kid Nieves right here, man, he really fought his heart out. He was just outskilled, outmatched. At this point, we knew the legend was starting to build of Naoya Inoue. I didn't really know he was going to be the fighter that he is today. But when fighters like Nieves can look back at these kind of fights and they can say, like, shit, if anybody else in that ring and that night with me, I beat him. It was just that this was Naoya Inoue.
Implications when the father is training the son. Do you like it, or would you have stayed away from it?
I mean, ideal, or they implode right.
I hate that shit. This is Yo Boy. They cut it off. Well, they can spare my Puerto Rican fighter from going down and quitting, so I'll take that. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Tall fighter, 5'9", boom. That 40-something fight, ooh, go down, bro. They don't do these fights justice.
Naoya.
Trust me when I'm telling you. Whoever making this video, he's not giving my man Naoya Inoue no justice here, because he really lays that French dude out. His name was Yo Boy. Yo, he hits him with like an overhand shot. He messed up his whole weekend. Naoya Inoue puts him down. If you have any time, go through some of the highlights. You'll see the better highlights. I'm pretty sure that whoever made this video is probably they've been copyrighted, and they're trying not to, I guess, be copyrighted. They're about to show Naoya Inoue versus Polanco. I don't know how you're gonna show this fight because there's nothing to show.
Versus Juan Carlos Payano.
Payano.
70 seconds. One of Inoue's fastest knockouts ever.
Dominican fighter, never been knocked down. They don't show it. See?
Versus Nonito Donaire.
This is fucking ridiculous. This is ridiculous. He knocks out Payano. Payano shifts one way wrong. He goes like that. Naoya Inoue threw out the jab. He saw that he moved. His foot was planted. He knocked him out. He knocked him out cold, bro. He knocked him out cold. And Payano's never been knocked out like that. I wouldn't say that Payano was the most slicker of boxers, but shit, he entered the World Series of Boxing where all the fighters, the best in that weight, in the bantamweight divisions, and all the top guys, 3 champions submitted their belts in. I believe Naoya Inoue had one, Nonito Donaire had one, and Emmanuel Rodriguez had one. I think those were the champions at the time that put up their belts. Yeah. I think that's the way it went. So let's see if they show some of this right here. He tripped. Nice shot, Donaire. Ooh, caught Donaire out of position. Yo, the video editor, whoever made the video, was obviously favoring Naoya Inoue, right? They were showing a lot of his great work. Nonito Donaire did a lot of good work in that fight right there. That fight was if you have the time, I encourage you to go watch that fight, in fact, right? It was a legendary fight. There were moments in the fight where that I felt Nonito Donaire did really good work. Naoya Inoue, persevered, did a lot of good work. It was a back and forth exchange, but I feel like Naoya Inoue had control in the fight. Naoya Inoue, every round he came out fast, came out strong. He just got caught early. His orbital bone was fractured, so he couldn't really decide to throw the punch with a lot of conviction, a lot of power. He used medium power, and he relied more on speed. And he just wanted to make sure that he was touching Nonito Donaire. He couldn't really sit down on that punch with Nonito Donaire because, one, sometimes in those kind of moments in exchange where you sit down on the front foot and you try to exchange, you can give him the opportunity to hit that injured eye. And you know that the Flash is targeting it. He'll be willing to block but take a big shot just to get that little shot in on that eye, to put more damage on that eye. So Naoya Inoue opted out on throwing with a lot of conviction and a lot of power, and he chose to keep it speed and just making sure he was touching Nonito Donaire. He was swinging with conviction, and I said it, medium power. Yes, he was hitting Nonito Donaire with power, some good shots, but not the kind of shots he would have liked to sit down on. That had he not had that orbital fracture, he would have stepped in the pocket more with the Nonito Donaire. When he suffered the injury, he was mostly on the balls of his feet, bouncing, darting in and out, and keeping Donaire at the outside. And that's what he was trying to do. Whenever Donaire kept applying that pressure, that he had no choice. And he had to cover up and mix it up on the inside, but stay defensively sound on the side of his injury. Nonito Donaire was in his face so much that even using and employing a tactic like he was blocking his eye, if you had one foot too much, like he was edging his way in, he would rather take it off his eye and go for the defense and start fighting. When he could and it was bothering him, Naoya Inoue would block his eye, and then he would get focused where he was. And then as soon as he started to close in, he'd switch it out like this. And he tried to adjust where he was, because he kept telling his father, "Dad, I'm seeing 3 of them." And his brother's like, "Hit the guy in the middle," So Naoya Inoue was really tested in this fight right here. But I'm on the side and on the line. They didn't show it. That referee helped out Nonito Donaire. I'm sorry. He did. Naoya Inoue knocked him out in this fight. And the reason why this fight sometimes upsets me, because when you think about individuals' careers, records, accomplishments, and what you could be right now had it not been for the fucked up officiating, judging, refereeing, okay? It might, in some cases, might not steal the victory from you, but it sure did stop a crazy knockout streak that Naoya Inoue is currently on. Had you awarded him that knockout against Nonito Donaire, don't you know that Naoya would be coming into this fight in Las Vegas on his 19th consecutive knockout streak? He would have knocked out the last 19 of his fighters. What stops that record is this. Because he's on a 10-fight knockout streak right now. Then there's Nonito Donaire 1. And then there's 8 other knockouts after that. So you count the 8 knockouts plus the Nonito Donaire, that's 9. And the 10 he has 9, that's 19 consecutive knockouts. So you just messed up his knockout streak by bad officiating. Although he didn't lose the fight, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, you still won the fight." No. When we look back in the record books, I think that would have been a good record to have, attached to 24 world title fights in a row. He's got that record going on strong right now. As long as he keeps fighting for world titles, he has all 4. He puts them on the line. That's a world title fight. That record keeps going. He would have 19 knockouts right now, man, because of that. People like, oh, well, you know, he won. It doesn't matter because, but no, it does matter. Yes, it does. He should have got that knockout.
Inoue now.
井上がガードを固めてのディフェンスに変わってきた20歳の井上。先週の水曜コーナーがスタジムの佐野、サイドには鈴木アナウンサー。お父さんとなる慎吾さんから飛んでいます。簡単には左フックでは倒れんぞという。痛めたかもしれない右の拳、左フック、高い左ダブルトリプル。左フック。
Oh, he's busting him up quick, huh?
そうですね、お互いお互いがもう倒しに行ってますね。敵も確実に当てますね。
確かにそう。
He said, I seen enough. I seen enough.
Naoya
You done, son. You done. I seen enough.
His first real test. But Inoue outclassed the future world champion with a dominant, unanimous decision.
He can't go on. You can't count this fight as Naoya Inoue fighting Ryaguchi as a world champion. You can't. Because he was never a world champion when he fought Naoya Inoue. Neither was Naoya Inoue. He goes on to be a world champion after. But you can't get credit for that. No. You can't get credit for a guy going on to be world champion. When you fought him, he wasn't world champion. But that's how good his competition is. And even when they lose or have lost to him, had it not been for Naoya Inoue, they'd be world champion. This was a nasty fight, bro. This was a nasty fight.
ようやく掴んだそのベルトを離さなきゃいけない赤いさあこの辺りで田口は前に出るか今もレイスパンチこの辺りで井上さあペースをつかむかバックするそしてガードだけが飛び込んでいきました今その距離感まず相手のパンチが当たらないところ次に自分のパンチ青いグローブの井上尚弥そうは左折と発望はい出てくるところに今ジャブをこの田口にしていましたこのラウンドの前は強気でいけそれしかないという指示を出していましたはい動く位置もいいですよねさあただここは接近戦だ田口が
僕はチャンスになるんじゃないかと思いますね
はいさあ見切っていきました井上右のここアッパーいきますさあこの中盤からですけれどもキンゴさんからは集中という言葉を受けてこの第6ラウンドに入っています
何もなんですよね。
はい。ただパンチを返す。井上が前に出た。下げるか。田口はただ引かない。田口は引かない。さあ田口はただそれでも引かない。井上はそこに。さあいよいよ試合は終盤へと入っていきます。
This is the fight right here that I compare for a future fight with Naoya Inoue, right? When they talk about Junto Nakatani, right? And I'd say the guy, the Japanese fighter that I compare him the most to is Ryaguchi right here. And there's other Japanese fighters that he fought that just like Naoya Inoue, fast, slick, you know, but Naoya Inoue was just faster, slicker, sharper. And it really shows because this kid right here, let me tell you, I'm trying to tell you at this point in time, the Japanese boxing world really, you know, it was a little divided, but I think more of the boxing fans in Japan were rocking with Ryaguchi here. This was a real fight between Japanese warriors right here to determine who was going to represent Japan going forward in those weight divisions and who they thought the best Japanese fighter at that time was going to come out of Japan. You know, later Luis Pantera Nari beat their Japan fighter. And then Naoya Inoue evolved into the fighter that he is today, revenge that loss as well. But when I look at fighters and they're like, yo, Juncho's going to beat Naoya Inoue, he's much taller. This guy right here is taller than Naoya Inoue, and as you can see, he's crouching down to make himself smaller because he doesn't want to. He was like, he tried that, being tall against Naoya Inoue shit. He was like, oh hell no. He had to protect everything so that he can be a little bit more solid. He found out real fast in the fight he can't fight tall against Naoya Inoue. Espinoza at 126, although he has long, langy, after I started thinking about it, he's not going to be able to hide his torso. That shit's like a fucking bullseye. It's just, he's all arms and legs. His torso is like, he's got like a swimmer's physique where they're real long in the torso. That's Espinoza. He's going to brutalize that body, I'm trying to tell you. But this is where I see it, like, the comparison was that fight. That's Naoya Inoue's first fight right there, I think. Is it? Yeah, I think this is his first fight. He was a Filipino fighter, 16 and 1, I think it was. What was his record? He. Nah, he was he had one no contest. He was 16-4-1, and I forget how many knockouts. Oh, good body work.
この2人による王座決定戦です。福永さん、はい、ネルソンマンションってきました。それをうまくさばきながら井上。さあ、ミドファー。
Yeah, Inoue tightened that shit up right there throughout his career, huh?
残り30秒切りました。井上尚弥が出る。ストップの井上。さらに井上尚弥。世界に向け。
That's it. That's enough.
Inoue Naoya.
Well, those are a lot of the fights. Seems like they're just going back and going through the other fights. Let's see what you guys got to say. About to drop this in the chat if anybody want to come up and what's this say? He's doing it too good, man. That's my only take from him. He was doing it a little too good. He had to slow down on all that action, because eventually people are not going to sign up to fight you, and we're starting to see that more frequently now than it was back then. He was really avoided back then, but on the low. Unless you were really like keeping track of Naoya Inoue and keeping track of all the situations and you were very familiar with him, you wouldn't have thought that a lot of people ducked Naoya Inoue. But in fact, throughout Naoya Inoue's careers, there's a list of men that have already ducked him. World champions, former world champions have all said no. Yeah, from Chocolatito to the Russell brothers to, the list just goes on. I don't want to expose these guys because I think that these guys were like, look, man, there's just a part in fighting that you have to admit that, you're good or great. You're just not in the elite level. And sometimes God didn't bless you with that. You're going to have to get work to get to that, if ever you can get to that kind of plateau. And every so often, just a remarkable talent emerges. There's a lot of fighters out there like Floyd and Naoya Inoue. What happens is they never make it to the sport they were born to do. They turn out to be a gangster, maybe drugs, prison takes them out the game. We never even hear about them, never even see them. It's not a guarantee that every kid, girl or boy that was born gets to do the very thing they were born to do, or even if they find their way to that. You can be a genius at something right now. You just never ran into the thing you were supposed to do. We were all designed to do something. You have to find your niche. Believe me, you're important, you're valuable, and you can be very successful in your niche. Sometimes it's that one thing you don't want to do. But boy, if you stop fighting against what you know you can do, you will excel in it. Trust me. And Naoya Inoue was the type of fighter that made it to his craft. He made it to the sport he was born to do. And when I see that, I'm like, he was born to fight. You saw when Naoya Inoue was a 19-year-old kid and he came up against his first fighter, the Filipino fighter. I think his name was Christian. He had 16 professional fights. And Naoya Inoue, if you were to take away their records, I would have thought that Naoya Inoue had 16 professional fights in that fight. How polished he was when he came out of the amateurs. And lo and behold, it's not easy to see the Jordans or the Bradys of the world or the Floyd Mayweathers. It's not easy to see them. You got to understand that Japan did not believe in Naoya Inoue. No, they didn't. He didn't even make the Olympic team, the Japanese Olympic team. They went elsewhere. You're good, kid. You're good. You're just not Olympic good, kid. Maybe you'll turn out to be a pro. You know, who knows? You'll get an interim belt. Let's go. Whatever decision, whatever happened, I made that shit up, but apparently they didn't believe in him. They didn't want him representing Japan. They picked the other guys. No, I'll take you. Whoever that was. That's just like Tom Brady, right? That's just like Tom Brady. What's up, Mr. Miyagi? That's just like Tom Brady being overlooked and being the 199 pick in the draft. They had no idea Naoya Inoue was going to be this kind of fighter, and I don't think anybody knew it for that matter back then. You know, he made himself this kind of fighter, and he proved to the world that he was him. But now Japan surely the hell knows who Naoya Inoue is, and he's everything in a bag of rice. What's up, Mr. Miyagi? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, very well, very well. Whoever did that video edit, they need to stop.
Yeah.
What is that?
That was the worst video. It like me, I would talk about build up the moment, and then 1 second I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, there's a live stream going on right now about Naoya Inoue, and the guy was putting together the videos, and I've been copyrighted a few times on it. But sometimes I'm just like, man, I want to talk about him so much, and I wish I could put videos. So I guess this guy came up a way to put up these, but I didn't really watch the clip. I said, well, I'll just go and narrate. I know enough about Naoya Inoue. You show me anything, I can talk about it. But and then if you show me nothing, I didn't anticipate that. And it kind of was like, I was like, listen, this video editing is crap, but hey, I did the best I could with it, you know, and what I had in the moment. So how do you see, you know, this fight with Naoya Inoue, and what did you take out of the video, Mr. Miyagi? You there, buddy? For some reason I can't hear you.
1 sec, my
okay.
headphones gone out.
All right. Mike Tyson story. No, you see, Naoya Inoue, he like beat all the Japan fighters, right? And 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 he had a great record in the amateurs. I really don't know. I think I found out at one point, but I've been covering Naoya Inoue's top fights as they go along so much that I might have just right now it's probably not coming to me because I'm pretty sure I looked something like that up. I would have wanted to know why Japan chose other fighters than Naoya Inoue chose to turn pro. He wanted to get to the gold medal because winning and representing for your country in the Olympics, a gold medal, it's big. It's big. 2 gold medals like Vasily, I think that's too much. They stole some years from him in boxing, I believe. But because 1 gold medal is good enough. Grab 1 year. It's not like your career is gonna be determined by the Olympics where you have to be a swimmer and have like 7 gold because there's not professional swimming. And it's not like we're watching swimming. No, your moments would have been in the Olympics. That's at the top level right there. But boxing, you have a career. Being in the Olympics too, I think that was just too much. He could have went and boxed and became a better world champion. Vasily, that's who I'm talking about. But Naoya Inoue didn't get picked for whatever reason it was. But he became and made himself a remarkable fighter. And as we're looking throughout his career, I was trying to show you some of these fights, and at least the fights that we did see, just to showcase Naoya Inoue's ability, skills, and power, so that if you're not familiar with him, you can become more familiar with him. He has a fight coming up in Las Vegas with a Mexican promising up-and-coming fighter. He is trying to prove his way, and where that they tried to get the top guy, he just wouldn't take the fight. Alan David Picasso here steps in. Roman Cardin, he's gonna show that he's willing to put the Mexican style up against Japan style, and to showcase Naoya Inoue. Bob Arum is bringing him to America, Las Vegas, which I will be there in attendance. So, Mr. Miyagi, I know you didn't come up here just to sit in the background. Tell me what's on your mind.
No, it's just there's 3 fights in Inoue's career where he's gone the distance. That first one, Ryoguchi, that man, I think he's retired now. He did get defeated a few more times after he became world champion, but he was never stopped in his whole career. And the next guy afterwards, I think it was Carmona. I think he was a Mexican fighter, but really the ref should have waved that off. I don't know.
He should have.
He was just up against the ropes, just getting battered. And the ref was there watching him. And I thought they were going to throw in the towel on that fight when I first started looking into Naoya Inoue in 2019, and I started watching all of his fights, and I see that one because he dropped him, I think, in the 7th round with that body shot, 7th or 8th round,
right?
And then the 12th, he just battered him. He was slipping punches, hitting him clean, and the ref should have thrown that towel in. He was up against the ropes for more than 15 seconds without throwing a single punch back.
No, the referee was checking his grocery bill. He was wondering if he left the stove on. He was checking his messages. And this guy was getting brutalized on the ropes. He's like, help me, ref. And he's checking his do I got eggs and milk? Did I put that on there? He's checking his, you know what I mean? And this guy's getting brutal. He should have stopped that fight. But yeah. And what was the third one?
And the Donaire fight as well. Like you said, that fight was there to showcase Donaire, but they knew how dangerous. It's all a bit conspiracy, isn't it? They probably said to the ref, if stuff starts getting, don't
nasty,
let Inoue close the distance if you see Donaire in trouble. because Inoue was going to go and hook him while he's running away, the same way he did Stephen Fulton after he hit him with that straight right. But this is what I hate when I see the comments on people, and you can tell the hating channels on about Inoue when they say, "Oh yeah, he got hit by Neri, and he went down," and I'm like, he literally got hit by a harder punch in the 5th round by Neri. Neri went all the way to the floor and looped a left hand, and it hit Inoue straight on the chin. It didn't even move him, and he just barreled through him. You know, when they started exchanging at the end of the 5th, after Inoue dropped him with the short left hand, Neri, after coming up off the count, he hit him on that first exchange. After he got up, he hit him with the left all the way from the floor, and Inoue just walked through it. This is why, even though it buzzed Inoue, the knockdown in the first round, the worst thing is that Inoue was throwing a punch at the same time. He was throwing that right hand, and where he's obviously it's buzzed his head and switched him off for a second, his body's just reacted, and that's what spun him around. But you saw in that Donaire fight, Donaire hit him, I think that was the 11th round. He hit him with a flush left hook. Right in the face, and Inoue just, bear in mind, it's fractured into orbital bone. He just carried on throwing. Like, I almost find you're not going to outpoint Inoue in a fight. He's just going to fight harder the longer the fight goes. The only way you're going to beat him, you're going to have to knock him out cold. You're going to have to catch him coming in. But even that's a tall task.
I think Luis Pantera Nari hits any other man on that division with that punch. He knocks him out. I think Naoya Inoue truly has an iron chin. He's taken his fair of shots. Although they criticize him sometimes for being hit in a fight, but they'll criticize him for being hit, but they won't give him acknowledgement for taking the punch as well. They don't. It just everything they talk about him. They talk about, and they try to dress it up like these are, flaws in his game plan, rather than acknowledging, wow, he took one to get one there. He stayed in the inside, he stayed in the pocket, he stayed in the fire, and I believe that after they started to criticize Naoya Inoue from getting hurt, there's a lot of fights. And I can point out a lot of moments. Paul Butler was getting brutalized. When Naoya Inoue was coming in for the attack, Paul Butler hit him with a clean right overhand shot. Naoya Inoue just walked through it like the Terminator. Jamie McDonald, when he lost to Naoya Inoue dropped him the first time. He was going back on the ropes. Jamie McDonald hit Naoya Inoue with a flush shot that I think he would have dropped any other fighter. Naoya Inoue, he hit him with it. Naoya Inoue acted like it didn't even happen. It went poof, and he bam, bam, bam. He just kept going forward. It was just like, once he gets into this killer, he looks like he's hyper focused. And these are a lot of traits about fighters that I talk about, right? Okay. For instance, if you were to break down another fighter like Floyd Mayweather, what they don't talk about is all the God-given talents he has. See, he wasn't just fast. He had cat-like reflexes. He had a gas tank for days. He never got tired, right? And not every fighter, some fighters have the cat-like reflex, but they don't got the power. They don't got the gas tank. When you talk about Naoya Inoue, they need to address these things as well. They need to address, his iron chin, his cat-like reflexes, his speed, his ring coordination, his IQ, the where and the when, the power. All these things are not talking. They just talk about him like if he's your average fighter. They compare him to just every average guy. So when you see him do this, if you're viewing him as an average guy, and he's beating this other guy, well, then that guy must be a cab driver. And that's how the fan is manipulated to not really taking a closer look at what they're actually watching. And I think that a lot of these channels were fixed on, putting those other guys down. And I guess they got whoever they want. But fighters like Naoya Inoue is what brought me back to the sport. What created this channel for me and you and all of us to enjoy. Because I couldn't believe half the shit they were saying. And that's when I was like, no, man, if we keep going along with things like this, they're gonna do what they did to Manny Pacquiao. And they're gonna dress him up like he was never an 8 division world champion. He was a 6. And Manny Pacquiao with still 6 weight divisions, that's good enough to beat Floyd. That's good enough to beat a lot of these other. I think there's only like 3 6 division world champions on the planet. Real ones. And he happens to be one. They just boosted it up 2 more because they didn't think anybody would notice, because his star status in the Philippines was so big that in boxing, he was getting knocked out. He got stretched out in the ring. They panicked. Then all of a sudden they had Max Callion on ESPN Sports backing out this outrageous story of a human that has 8 belts in 8 divisions. It was an incredibly remarkable story. As a boxer myself, I was like, wow, that's Superman shit right there. I've never seen anybody actually do that at the highest level. I mean, Hector Camacho is a 7 division then. But he only has 3 belts, 3 major belts, and 3 weight division, and the other 4 are minor belts. But he really fought in 7 weight divisions. But at that level, no. So if you're not going to give it to Hector Camacho, you can't give it to Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao, legitimately, I did my homework. He has 6 real divisions. Floyd only got 5. And I say like only 5. Shit, look at the amount of men in the planet that ever made 5. It's like 6 men on planet Earth or something like that. So that's nothing to frown upon. Oscar De La Hoya also has 6 real world divisions. He's in there with Manny Pacquiao. Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao are in the same room. And I hope that fighters like Naoya Inoue can achieve such things. Look at Terrence Crawford. He's only a 4. Look how great he is. Look how great Naoya Inoue is, and he's only a 4. Look how great Naoya Inoue is. And we're nervous for him to go up to 126. I'm not so much anymore after that bullshit, but still nervous, yes. The man's pushing the envelope. That 5 weight division, that's not easy to do, man. That is not, you're going to be in a room, there's a short list of men in there. Unfortunately, the reason why I do this, back to what I was saying, my initial thing is that at some point, boxing lost their minds. You couldn't do that with LeBron James in the NBA. If you woke up tomorrow and announced LeBron James 8-ring world champion, the internet will crash. You couldn't do that in the NBA. All these NBA fans, websites, and content creators would be like, how the hell does LeBron James got 8 rings? Show me. Yo, they'll snap. But you can do that in boxing and not one person will lift an eyelash. They'll just go along with the story. Everything they were led to believe. Manny Pacquiao, the greatest fighter in the world, 8 division world champion. As a fighter, I was like, wow, that is remarkable. 8 divisions at the highest level? Are you fucking crazy? That's robot shit. That's truly man. Some of the greatest fighters went up 1 division and their mothers couldn't recognize them. Moving 1. This dude did 8. Wow, you didn't have to stretch out the story that far. Now, as a boxer looking at that, come on, bro. That's like The equivalence of a man being able to pull that off, that would be the equivalence of having all of Tom Brady's rings and Michael Jordan's rings. That's how hard that would be. It's just a remarkable story. That's like if you want to lie to me about a boxer, make that shit up. That's video game shit. 8 divisions. Are you crazy? At the highest level? That's I gotta scratch my head. And when I looked it up, that's when I knew I had to make this channel. I knew then. I was like, the people should not be like lied to like this. They shouldn't have to do this to the fighters for us to love them. I love Manny Pacquiao regardless. You didn't have to break my heart. You didn't have to make me run around arguing with people for years. Nah, he's in 8 division. I know it. Max Callahan said it on ESPN. I saw the whole story. I watched that shit 5 times just to be heartbroken as a fan. I was upset. Then I had to figure out who I should be mad at. These guys, the people that tell you the stories. And why can they get away with that in boxing? But they can't do it in any other sport. You know? So it's like, I decided to tell the truth and love Manny Pacquiao for the success and the fighter that he was. I don't care if Manny Pacquiao got knocked out 1,000 times. I always love him for the fights he gave us. He was explosive in my eyes. I'm a fan. I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame without a lot of controversy. No wonder he hasn't been elected yet into the Hall of Fame. I think Manny Pacquiao is fighting that right now. Because when he gets to the Hall of Fame only accepts real world titles. They're going to go through your resume with a fine-tuned comb. And there's going to be a lot of fans on that day saying, wait a minute, didn't you tell me that this, and this? And then when you go look and dissect Manny Pacquiao's career, he was what we call the repeated fighter. He kept fighting the same guy 3 times, 4 times. He has a lot of fights, but just because you fight Tim Bradley 3 times, it's actually 3 fights, but it's only 1 name. You fought all these legendary wars and battles. What'd you fight this guy 4 times too many before he knocked you out? And there's a lot of fighters. So when you start to break down his record, it shrinks dramatically in names. Like dramatically. Manny Pacquiao's record, it does. Because he what's the Mexican dude there? He went to war with, like, which one? Pick one. 4 fight. You watch Manny's record. He fought him 3 times. He fought him 4 times. He fought him 3 times. He fought him 2 times. He fought him 3 times. That's what's gonna happen. And all those amount of fights like that are gonna really bulk up to his record's gonna shrink with names. That's what's gonna end up happening. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Yeah. So would you say right here? Tro? What's it say? Yeah, he would have been in better in GOAT talks and with MJ. But I want you to also recognize one thing too in GOAT conversations, right? You ever notice when you're comparing the new GOAT like what you think is the new GOAT to the original GOAT, that a lot of times they enter things in the conversation that should never be in the conversation. See, when you compare Michael Jordan and LeBron, I always stop that conversation in its track with one sentence. His scoring title was never in the equation. That's never in the conversation. None of his accolades or his longevity, who the fuck brought that into the conversation? These fans that try to be slick. The conversation, the initial conversation, get 6 rings, come talk to me. If you can't do that, we have nothing to talk about. Everything else is exactly what I say when they lower the bar to get their guy in. They had to lower Michael Jordan's standard to qualify to put somebody next to him. And Nike helped that. They came up with an entire system of numbers, new numbers that never existed in the NBA, that Michael wasn't privileged to. They had to do that to make more stats, more numbers, to say, look what LeBron did. In a shorter period of time, LeBron did this, scored that, did this, dribbled this. Who gives a fuck? LeBron, you came into the league when you were 17. If you didn't get the scoring title, what would that say about you? Yo, you would be trash if you did not break that scoring title for as long as you've been playing. Brother, you better break that. So something that you were expected to break because of longevity, how is that in the conversation? How? How is whatever point you put up? No, that was never in it. 6 rings. I know what championships are. And until you do that, I don't care how you get it. You didn't have to do it like Michael, 3-piece. No, that's not fair. You could have did it 2-4, 2-2-2, 1-1, 1-1. I don't give a fuck how you did it. Long as it adds up to 6. I didn't care how Kobe was doing it. Once Kobe got 5, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Right? That's what I mean. That's what they do in order to put their player, favorite fighter, football player in with the greats. They got to lower the bar. You really mean to tell me that they're trying to talk up Patrick Mahomes next to Tom Brady because he had a better 4 years? What the fuck does that mean? You see how they're lowering the bar? No. Make 10 Super Bowl appearances. Get 7 rings. Then come talk to me. Because I think he had a great start. I think Patrick Mahomes is a way better talent than Tom Brady, right? I got to admit. He scrambles better, throws better, everything, but I guess that doesn't win you games all the time. Now, does it? It's right up here, right? Tom Brady was better than him in that, more accurate, right? But the thing is that the standard for winning Super Bowls is rings. Isn't it 4? Like the Bradshaws, the Joe Montanas, they all got 4 rings. It's usually at that point in your career when you go downhill. Tom Brady came up with the TB12. He started eating grass and shit, treating his body like a shrine. Patrick Mahomes' ass is getting bigger and fatter every year. You see how fat he's getting? Every year he gets fatter. He's not living the TB12 way. Longevity? Brother, you had a great start, but unless you turn into Tom Brady, I don't see you lasting. I don't, but they got to lower the bar to talk him up with Tom Brady. Fucking crazy. Naoya Inoue, in boxing, all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. What do they got to do? They got to lower the bar to have other guys in the conversation that they're better than this guy. They got to force the heavyweight champion Usyk on the pound-for-pound list just to outshine him. Because by default, we all know, you can't make the heavyweight champion number 3. You cannot make him number 2. What would you be saying about the heavyweight championship of the world? That in actuality, there's a belt out there that can compete with it? Bullshit. The heavyweight championship of the world is the greatest belt in all of boxing. If all the champions were in the room and the heavyweight champion walked in through the door, they need to salute him out of respect. And whoever doesn't, smack him. Because that's the best belt in boxing. I don't care what anyone says. Have Naoya Inoue beat Usyk. I'll be right here. Have Terrence Crawford go whoop Usyk's ass. That's why it's the best belt. That's why. And so they put him on a pound-for-pound list just to outshine Terrence Crawford and Usyk. And because the heavyweight championship division is fucking trash, they got the top 6 guys in rotation just fighting each other. The Parkers, the Zangs, the AJs, the Usyk, they're just in a rotation fighting each other because there's no one there. And in order to keep the heavyweight championship belt prestigious, what are they doing? They got to lower the bar and put the heavyweight championship next to some great fighters like Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue that rightfully deserve the 1 and 2 spot. But they got to keep the heavyweight champion, can't do it by himself. And they got to lower the fucking bar, bro. There's no way Usyk is more skilled than Naoya Inoue. No way. There's no way he's more skilled than Terrence Crawford. And isn't that what the pound-for-pound list is? That we're saying that my guy, pound for pound, he has more skill than any of your guys. He can switch and adapt to all styles. Isn't that what the pound-for-pound list is for? Now it's a fucking promotional list, they should call it. Now, if you have belts in multiple divisions, that's credit now. They're changing the rules. They're changing everything. Because their elite ones only come around so often. And there's only like one of them. You can't... Listen, you're not supposed to put anybody up against Tom Brady like that. Not unless he's close. That's just like the batting title, the average. Every time somebody gets up to 25 game hitting streak, Mickey Mantle's name starts getting brought up. 56 game hitting streak. Right? No, let him get into 40, then start talking it up. You get a little bit closer. He's on a 20. He's already better. And they're already talking it up like, well, at his pace, right, he's going to crush his record. Next game, he goes hitless. They're always trying to lower the bars when it comes to the elite. Because to touch the elite, you're going to have to do some elite shit. You're going to have to really dedicate yourself to the sport. It's going to expose you. When we go back and Naoya Inoue retires and it's all said and done, there's going to be a kid. He's going to look at Naoya Inoue's record. He's going to be there and he's going to go, there's no way around it. You're going to have to do what he did. You're going to have to start off roughly in his age, in only 6 professional fights. You're going to have to get a world title. Now, I'm not telling you got to do it at 108. Doesn't matter. Your size is your size, right? It's not like Naoya Inoue was down there fighting heavyweights. No. So you can only be compared on whatever weight you choose to start your career. From there, you need to take off. And here are the requirements, the real requirements. Don't tell me that David the Monster Benavidez can get all 4 interim belts at 175 and that he's compare him with Demetrius Bivol. That's what they'll do. In order to lower the bar to... You see? We can't allow that shit. You need to do Demetrius Bivol shit. And LeBron James needs to win 6 rings. That's it. Everything else that they made up, which is not made up, it's actually his stats. LeBron's stats are better than MJ's, more longevity. Okay, cool. But he's not the GOAT. And Naoya Inoue one day will be the GOAT in boxing. I know he will. Unfortunately, we just can't call him the GOAT right now because these boxers don't retire well, bro. They really don't. They're fucking in there. Naoya Inoue at 45. He's back again. Knocked out. You're like, yo, dude, like, it's time to lace it up. Stop doing this to your record, you know? And some of the greats don't retire well. But when he has that 5 years and they induct him into the Hall of Fame, you know, that's why you're never going to catch Floyd Mayweather. He's already been inducted to the Hall of Fame, and he does exhibition fights. I don't care if anybody goes out there and knocks out Floyd tomorrow 10 consecutive times in a row. It will never affect his boxing career. That's signed, sealed, and delivered. As long as he doesn't do anything foolish, like go back to and sanction a real professional fight. If you knock him out there, then it affects him. Yes, it does. But as long as he stays in those exhibition with 2-minute rounds, the 2-minute rounds, the boxing athletic committee doesn't sanction that as a professional fight when it's 2-minute rounds. You can knock him out 10 times. It would never count. Yeah. What's up, Maggie?
You say about Floyd coming back for a sanctioned bout, but Jake Paul managed to get old Mike Tyson in the ring, so don't jinx it now.
Yeah, don't jinx it now. Right. I'm sorry. Floyd, please don't do it.
Did you see the fight with Logan Paul and Mayweather? Logan was massive. He was like huge. Huge.
Hey, there's a moment in the fight, right? He hits Logan Paul, boom, and I think he knocked him out. Mayweather was holding him up.
Yeah.
he was holding him up like this, and he was like doing the dance with him, like, Jay Paul, shake it off, right? And like, I'm on a live, Jose, call me right back. And I was like impressed. I was impressed because I knew whatever they said that weight was, my eyes told me different. That Logan Paul dude, he had to have at least 25 pounds, maybe more. I mean, well, Mayweather, or maybe more, like 30 pounds, like, because he was upwards of the 190, 200. Mayweather, the highest he's ever weighed in a fight was 152. I don't know. I would like to see the real numbers on how heavy Logan was. But that was one big boy in there with Mayweather. But I got to give it to those white dudes, bro, right? Check it out, right? You and your brother are some YouTube content creators. I guess their backstory, they came from a Nickelodeon show on some TV network. I was familiar with Nickelodeon. I got kids, and they sit there and watch it and shit, right? But I wasn't really familiar in his era, in his time. I'm a bit older, right? So according to what I remember, you know, he was just some YouTube content creator, grew up. He was a sweet kid, got tattoos, went out to parties, got hated on by other dudes and started fighting. Kind of young when you're in that scene. It's kind of typically what happens when you're in clubs. You typically are going to end up fight, mix up alcohol, women, and drugs. Recipe for fights after the club. So apparently he knocked out some people, whatever. Then he tried this boxing vendetta, whatever. Okay, I said all of that to say this. That them two white brothers, right, came out, and at least I can say they were successful enough to achieve one of their dreams, to be in with legends, right? You know, there's a lot of boxers that would have loved to share the ring with Mayweather. And at one point in time, you would have to pay for that. These kids paid for it. You mean legitimately, you got enough money together and enough fans to get Floyd Mayweather in the ring with you? Are you kidding me? And then, like, the other brother wanted to outdo the other brother, so he went and got Mike Tyson. So one brother fought legendary Floyd Mayweather, and the other brother fought Mike Tyson. And although our legends were retired at the time, so what? I gotta admit, I'm like, dude, I can't hate on you. If there was anything I could have did in my life, because I had so much money or whatever, or that kind of fucking popularity, you're gonna need that following that kid had, right? And Cleveland, Ohio just came out to support him. And he put all that shit together. And I, even though it was not a sanctioned fight, whatever, how many people can say they did that? How many legends begged Floyd, hey, Floyd, let's have an exhibition? Floyd, nope. How many guys in his own profession didn't get that opportunity? And this YouTube content creator came out of left field. And before I knew it, Floyd was in the ring with him. I couldn't believe it. Mike Tyson was in the ring with Jake Paul. I couldn't believe it, man. You know how many people would love to have done that with Mike? People with real money. This fucking kid pulled it off, man. Whatever you think about the fight, whether it was rigged, I'm not talking about none of that shit. I'm just talking about the actual night. He got to do that shit, bro. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I would have loved, even if Floyd kicked my ass, I would have loved to have done that. I can't lie. It's fucking crazy.
Do you reckon if the whole COVID stuff hadn't happened and Inoue fought in America in front of a big crowd against Casemiro, say he won that and then his career went how it is now, but with more eyes, do you reckon he would have been could have been a staple in US boxing? Like you would see him out in America at Vegas more?
Yes. I think he is a staple in boxing right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Miyagi. My analytics tell me so. I get 2% views from Japan. The rest of my people that watch my Naoya Inoue, they're American fans. Problem is, in America, if you start to support the Japanese guys, it's dangerous. Because the other American fans are going to look at you like a traitor, or there's some hardcore fans that they consider themselves purists that won't support any other race. You know that, and I know that. So a lot of these fans that do like him, they'll get on and they won't show their face, or they'll say a comment or whatever, and they'll give me a thumbs up. But a lot of them are Americans, and they do know who he is. But, you know, in this, oh, what? You don't like Shakur? Why do you talk about this guy? You have no idea how many other comments I get. How many other channels refer me as, oh, kissing Naoya Inoue's ass. Why am I have an obsession with him or something? Really? Because he's not your fighter? You know what I mean? So I think that the COVID epidemic did, in fact, stall out his career, and many other fighters as well. He wasn't the only one. But Americans are typically, they're like watching each other, right? Whoever stands up first, depending who stands up, they're like, he's strong enough to stand up and say, yeah, Naoya, and then they'll stand up with him. They're like looking around to see who's brave enough to do it. Once you would have got that American fight in America that he would have fought, one of the fights here would have been against Jason Maloney, which in fact Naoya Inoue got an award for knockout of the year in that fight. It was a beautiful sequence set up. It was remarkable the way he knocked out Jason Maloney. Imagine if there was a crowd there. I believe in that fight he would have won over a lot of fans, and then the American fans would have come together and would be like, no, Naoya Inoue, we just haven't had that moment. We haven't had that fight in America where the fans decided to get by him. We're kind of like all divided on him while you're hearing all these stories of hype job, and you're a little confused. You're a little thrown back. So you don't want to be that guy that says, yeah, Naoya, and he goes out and gets knocked out. And they're like, damn, he was a hype job, right? So We just haven't had that fight in America to solidify it. He had fights in America, just not at the right time.
And do you know what? I never understand, and because you're talking about like fighters race and stuff like that, and because I'm a UK, I'm from UK and that,
Okay.
We don't have none of that talk. Like the boxers, you could have a black boxer, British, Chinese, but it doesn't matter. They'll always
I
break
know,
down the
right?
styles. But it's kind of sad how, like, as I've watched through the years with the American boxing, like, sort of commentating YouTube scene, it's got more and more just broken. And it seems, because even though I watch a lot of Mexican channels with subtitles, whether they're right or not, I'm not sure, but a lot, even there's no real mention on about race. Like they're more interested in like the styles, like how they're, how the fight is breaking down. It only seems to be really America that people always push this thing. Oh, because he's an X, because he's not a X or Y, he can't beat this guy. There's no way,
Right.
And in all fairness, history has shown, like you always say, the USA, the majority of the fighters have been black. The top level echelon, Hall of Famers, the greatest of all times, have all been black fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to say there. Like, yeah, you could put your stamp on it and say, well, here's the proof. Yeah. But then you can't keep that same thing when the fighters aren't doing what these men are doing at this time, in this current era.
Right.
When you look at, I get so annoyed when fighters aren't even fighting twice a year. It really annoys me.
Yes.
Because it's like, I know fighters get injured. Shakur he broke his hand in training. But it's like, even the ones that have no injury, I'm like, how are you not fight? Even if it's just a stay busy fight, just something small, like the fact that Tank literally sat out for a whole year, basically, to not fight. It's just like, I don't understand what they're waiting for.
Terrence Crawford, previous to fighting, I believe, Errol Spence Jr., and he took that one fight where his glove broke in the ring. Remember that one against Ivan
Yes,
and I think,
yeah.
what was his name? I forget his name there. And but 5 years prior to that, he fought one time a year, every year, Terrence Crawford. He had no injuries. He wasn't the type of man. He was just legitimately fighting once a year. And I think that this American swag, and once they get the bag of money for that last fight, it takes them a whole year to come back to the sport. You got this Japanese guy, Naoya Inoue. Last year, he fought 4 times a year. This year, he's fighting 4 times a year. The prior year to that, he fought 3 times a year. Look, very active champion. He's fighting 4 times a year when the title in his name is undisputed. So every time he enters the ring, he's putting 4 belts on the line at the highest risk with the greatest reward you can ever achieve in boxing. You can't beat a royal flush at the poker table. But you're trying to say there's something better than a royal flush. I don't get it. Naoya Inoue is at the highest level. There's no higher. There can't be nothing else on the line. And if you want to add the Ringside Magazine, he also owns that. So that's what I mean. He's repeatedly 4 times a year at the highest level. How the hell is he not the number 1 in the pound for pound list? Has Usyk fought 4 times a year? Did he defend all 4 of those belts, or even 3 of those belts 4 or 3 consecutive times yet? When's the last time? Go ahead.
They why they give Usyk that is because obviously he started his career at cruiserweight and moved up, but it's like he's beaten Daniel Dubois, which was is a fair win. He washed Anthony Joshua, and then he washed Tyson Fury, which all of them are great wins. But the thing, when I had arguments with some of my workmates about like the pound for pound and that, and I always said to him, if say in a hypothetical world you have Inoue with his skill set, and now just imagine him if he was born a heavyweight, he's not going to be a tall heavyweight, so we got to think because he's a short man anyway. But say he was a heavyweight, now a heavyweight with fast hands, fast feet as a heavyweight, the fastest heavyweight you've seen, the fastest heavyweight with hands, head movement, power, and a terrific chin. Now put him up against Usyk and an engine as well. He would wipe the floor if that man could. If you could mythically make him into a heavyweight at say a 5'9" stature but stocky build with the foot movement, the hand speed, the IQ, the chin, and the gas tank, he would. What would he do? What would he do up there? It's like,
right.
You just got to imagine if you could blow these men up and give them relative attributes. So, who had the fastest hand speed in the heavyweight division? Say Andy Ruiz hand speed, but a guy with an average, heavyweight reach. So probably, what's Anthony Joshua's reach? 72 inch.
Anthony Joshua's reach, arm reach. Anthony Joshua's arm reach is 82 inches.
All right. So say I give Inoue heavyweight 77. What'd you say? 82 inches.
It's 82. Joshua, right now, he's 35 years old. He has 167 rounds experience. He has an 89% knockout rate, and his reach is 82%.
Yeah. So say you give Inoue a 75-inch reach. Yeah, you're still a man with the hand speed, the fastest hand speed that you could think of at heavyweight, with the fastest feet, good defense, terrific chin, great engine. I couldn't see it going any differently at heavyweight. Like, you could blow all these men up, all the greats, and you think if he had the attributes he's got at the smaller weights, because they're never going to look the same if you blew them up. But people just think, if Inoue at 5'5" put on 40 pounds, and could he fight that? I'm like, no. But you got to mythically imagine what the fastest hand speed at a certain weight looks like, or like all the fastest attributes relative to whatever weight class. So, say for instance, Muhammad Ali when he was Cassius Clay with the hand speed at heavyweight. Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to think who's got real fast footwork. Heavyweight. I'm just thinking
heavyweight at that time. I would say I like Ken Norton Jr.'s footwork at the time. It was he was a little
balanced. Like, I'm just trying to think someone that's got that. It wouldn't look the same, but that sort of balance that Inoue has. So it always kind of
Joe Frazier.
Yes. The chin for heavyweight. God, it's just crazy. I love the. I could spend hours.
My thing is this, right? So you say that the reason why they got him at the number one spot because he came up from cruiserweight and he went up to heavyweight and he had that success, right? Then, guys like me, we're gonna argue the fact. We're gonna say, but wait a minute, didn't he go up to heavyweight and fight one guy for 3 belts, Joshua? Then he fought one guy with 1 belt. It's not like he chased down 4 heavyweight champions. No, he beat Joshua for a shitload of belts. He even beat Joshua for the IBO in the ring. Okay, the last belt that was out there was Tyson Fury. So his road to heavyweight supremacy was 2 fights. He fights 2 guys And by definition, everybody that those two men fight, all their accomplishment automatically goes to Usyk. Just because Tyson Fury knocked out all those guys and Joshua knocked out all those guys, the Klitschko's and all that. In this day and age in boxing, he was already awarded the greatest heavyweight champion to ever live by just defeating two men. How ridiculous. Another situation where you got to lower the bar to get them in the conversation with the greats. Then they try to clean it up. They try to say, oh no, when Usyk goes out and beats Dubois or does this and does that again, that makes him the best. No, it doesn't. He hasn't put in nearly the work. What you had him do were two rematches. Even though that's 4 fights, you only fought 2 people. You fought Joshua twice. You fought Tyson Fury twice. How does that grant you the greatest heavyweight in the world? Just because those 2 men wiped down the division, Usyk, you didn't do that. Just because we think that you beat the top guys, that doesn't award you beating everybody else. In fact, here comes the new improved Daniel Dubois coming around the corner. That he did what you couldn't do not once, but twice. He knocked AJ the fuck out. You had 2 opportunities at it, Usyk, and you couldn't even do it. So, all of a sudden, you're what? The dressed up best heavyweight in the world? If I'm being honest? They got him painted with nice blush. They got him looking real pretty without doing no work. You mean to tell me, how the fuck did he pass Lennox Lewis? And in the conversation for the best heavyweights? How? I mean, Evander Holyfield at least legitimately became heavyweight champion 3 times. Lost it, got it, lost it, got it. That's real warrior shit. But Usyk, because your country's in a war. Listen, my sympathy goes out to all the men. That's not nothing to play with. But that shouldn't grant you the best heavyweight in the world. It shouldn't even get you in the conversation of being in front of Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue. I don't see how. You beat 2 guys, brother. Calm down.
Do you know what they give? Well, what in the UK when people like there's a mainstream channel called Talk Sport in the UK, and they do like boxing and that, and they always keep referencing, oh, he fought the bigger man who's like 60 pounds over him. And I don't give, when Usyk went into heavyweight, I don't give him credit for the man being 60, because you're in heavyweight. The guy could weigh 400 pounds if he could. It doesn't matter. The thing I give Usyk credit for is that he beat a 6'9" Tyson Fury with some ridiculous reach and was able to rock him in that first fight. Yeah. Like, I thought, me personally, I thought Tyson Fury was going to maul him in that first fight. But I saw defensive lapses that it just is, and it's vintage Tyson Fury. He was just taking the piss. He wasn't taking that first fight seriously at all. That's why his hands were down, not defending the left straight. And you see it in the second fight. Fury came out with his hands up in the high guard, and he was blocking all the shots, and it made it a much more competitive fight. But then Fury's gas tank in the last rounds, he just can't hold the form he had in the first 7. He just gassed after that, and he was slow. Hands started coming down, and then Usyk just started tagging him up.
I have another viewpoint on that scenario, the whole scenario with Usyk and Tyson Fury. I'd also give him credit for exactly what you said, Mr. Miyagi, right? And I agree with everything that you said. I'm just going to add to it because I agree with you. I'm going to add to it by saying drugs and alcohol will fuck up your body. Tyson Fury, just before that Usyk fight, was a little slipping again back into his old ways, as we know. showing up with a Lamborghini dressed as Batman. We saw that meltdown. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. So although he did beat Tyson Fury, I'm more on the line. Usyk had a little help, a little bit more aged out Tyson Fury. Not that real young, hungry, 3-belt holder Tyson Fury. He didn't beat that guy. He beat this bald-headed Tyson Fury that went in and embarrassed himself and let Francis Ngannou do that to him. That's not the Tyson Fury I know.
No, that was ridiculous.
So when Usyk beat Tyson Fury, okay, my man, I'm not going to, okay. But I do have to acknowledge, just slightly, you beat a cocaine-induced, drunken, coming out of a slump, trying to get himself back into shape, where the human has to realize, unless you were maintaining this level of shock, do we realize it just doesn't come back like it once did. Tyson being all at the time, all of 39 or whatever, and being, you know how men that tall don't age well. They're not real athletic as it is. He was a special athletic being that big and being able to move. But the guys that size, they'd rather play basketball, right? So you know those big, like clunky, tall dudes, they don't age real good. So Usyk, I think you fought him at a right premier time. I really do. I think Tyson Fury just found out that he's a little bit up there in age, and those drugs and alcohol did a toll. I'm pretty sure you got the best liquor and the top-notch drugs. I'm pretty sure. And that shit ripped through your body. And it also aged you. And on that inactivity coming in, I'm not making no excuses for him. I'm just pointing out facts. Humans are humans, man. He wasn't a really active heavyweight at the time. And with that fucking debacle with France, man, listen. So, okay, Usyk, we're here. You got it. I'm not taking nothing away from you. But still, he's only one man. You can't get success off everything Tyson Fury did. That's for him. What are you going to share his record in the Hall of Fame? I beat Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury beat all these guys. What, are they going to put that on your shit, Usyk? No. Usyk, you only beat him. Okay, you beat Dubois, but not the Dubois of today. Because that's what everybody's saying. You didn't beat the Dubois of today. And watch out, Usyk, because you're going to get a lot of controversy over that body shot. Okay? So a lot of people think you were knocked out in that fight. So don't yell Dubois' name too loud, homeboy. All right? And then as far as it comes to the greatest heavyweight, I'm not doing this LeBron Jordan shit with fucking Usyk. I'm not going to allow it. No, you're not going to get a name off everybody else you beat. You need to do something. And in my eyes, you have not passed Lennox Lewis. There's nobody in the God's green earth is going to convince me that yet. I mean, he's still active in boxing, so let's see what Usyk does from here. But Lennox Lewis did some shit. He did some shit. He fought some people. Brother, where is he at right now? What's going on? So he's coming off 2 back-to-backs with Tyson Fury, Dubois, AJ twice. Then he fought Derek Chisora, right? Let's remember, right? Then who else did he fight? He fought the Witherspoon. He fought Witherspoon, right? So he fought it was Witherspoon, Derek Teixeira, AJ, Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury. That makes you the greatest heavyweight in the world. That puts you on the pound for pound number 1. In actuality, 1, 2, 3. You fought four guys. That's it. I can't give you credit for AJ twice. It's the same person. There's basically only one name. I can't give you credit for fighting Tyson Fury twice. And it's one name.
Who do you reckon Usyk would have to fight in the heavyweight? So say he goes into a rematch with Daniel Dubois in the form that he's on now, beats him. Joseph Parker in the form Joseph Parker, and then I would put him in there if he fought and beat these three fighters. Ajit Kabayel, if Usyk fought him and beat him, undefeated. What is he now? He's an interim belt holder, I think. I can't remember what organisation. Daniel Dubois, IBF champion, and Joseph Parker, the WBO interim. If he fought all three of them, beat them all, I would definitely put a conversation in the heavyweight, because he would have beaten Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. He gave Tyson Fury his first 2 losses. Would have given Kabayel his first loss. Beaten an in-form Daniel Dubois. And then beaten also an in-form improved Joseph Parker. I definitely reckon that would, if he had 3 fights left in it, because he's saying he's only got 2 left now. But if he fought those 3 fighters, I reckon you could put him, because these are all the guys that have shown. They've all been well. Daniel Dubois, I'm like missing, because I can't remember Daniel Dubois' early career, but I swear he's a 2-time heavyweight champion. I swear he had. Did he not? I swear he had the IBF like 4 years ago.
He had an IBF it was lower than an interim. It wasn't even the real interim IBF.
Man, I feel like
it had like the big plaques. You know how it was red and it had like these plaques right here on his belt. On Daniel Dubois, they were triangle-ish. They went like this, and the plaque was long. But it was the red belt with this. But that's when you know it's not the real belt, because they changed the plaques. It's slightly different. It's like a really minor belt. He had one of those. He had like the minor WBA too, Daniel Dubois. He had the British belt there. He had that too. But he was never a heavyweight world champion.
But he had. It said he previously held the WBA regular version.
Yeah.
That's why. No, they must have been, the UK pundits must have been blowing it up then, because that's, from what I remember, they always called it world champion, WBA world champion. But this is why I get confused. The WBA is
Just like Tank Davis was a 3-division world champion. You know what I mean?
You know what? Well, they called him. The thing is, they called him a 3-division world champion when he fought Roach. Yeah. And I'm like, so what is it? How the problem with the WBA? It's fine if you got interim belts, because it's different. It's like you got well, what could they call it? A world title interim. You know, but when you've got the WBA call it a regular title, but the regular title is technically the world championship, but it can only go to a super belt after you've defended it something like 5 times.
5 times, yeah.
But then you can have a super champion and a regular title it makes no fucking sense.
Listen, you just said it. I was just gonna stop you but you just said it. So that way you can hear. It makes no sense, right? When the regular guy gets the regular belt for the first time, at that moment and period in time, he's considered the real WBA champion or whatever division. He defends the belt 5 times, it turns into the super. Then all of a sudden it's the super, the regular disappears, and what happens? The freaking organization allows someone to come up and fight for the regular while the super still exists. So and then in their record books, they're trying to give 2 guys legit world championship status in their belt. Like legitimately, for display, they try to call Tank Davis and Devin Haney, both WBA champions at 135 at the exact same time. You cannot share a world championship. The definition of you being the champion, only one team, one person, whatever. How could two players with two different jerseys be considered the champion in the exact same year? And that's why BoxRec are one of the organizations that do not acknowledge the WBA. Because the WBA, when they went and asked the WBA, BoxRec, who was your champion in this weight division? Who did you consider? They said, Tank Davis. They said, then how the hell is Devin Haney undisputed? No, Devin Haney is the world champion as well. Why? Because he's the super. They said, what are you talking about? How could he be a regular? You know what? Your organization is corrupt. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? And you're the first belt in all of boxing. You would think you would have your shit together. They just took him off the website because the WBA wouldn't budge. They're legitimately trying to say that all their regular champions were real world champions while they were being supers in some divisions. It's fucking crazy. And that's why they taking them as a joke. They took them out of BoxRec. They don't even acknowledge none of their champions in history. You can't go to BoxRec and find out one WBA world champion. Because what BoxRec got a good argument. In their argument, they do. Because what they're saying is the WBA, because you don't want to legitimately announce, you want them to pay you, because you would have to change the history books with what WBA is saying. You would have to go into the history books and you would start having to award guys world championship status. Rather than to come to their senses and say, okay, you guys were the interim, you guys were the real one. And leaving the things that they don't want to bend. They don't want to budge. They legitimately want their champions, and it doesn't make sense. You can't share a world championship like that. Who's the champion? What validates your belt? Why can't the interim come up and say, you know what? I'm the loudest. I talk the most shit. I got more followers, more likes. I'm the champion. And all of a sudden, his champion supersedes his by popularity. There has to be, you have to keep your belt prestigious. See, the WBC and the rest of the organizations, they admit they got interim belts. They'll lie only to a certain extent. And if you want to see the lie unfold right now in real time, okay, I got you two perfect scenarios. Go to a Tank Davis, Frank the Ghost Martin fight. When Tank Davis is being announced in the ring, just watch the announcement. What do they announce him as? A 2-division world champion. His next fight, the very next fight against Lamont Roach, he became a 3-division world champion. How? Just by walking in the ring? Because he had no previous fight. If in the Frank the Ghost Martin, and Frank the Ghost Martin's never competed for a world title. He's never been a champion, so you can't say he moved up 1 division or something. How? How is it that he was just announced as a 2-division world champion, and in his next fight, he's a 3-division? Because some of the places are counting that belt with Mario Barrio, that WBA champion, that regular belt. Well, wait a minute. When Mario Barrio had that belt at the time, wasn't Josh Taylor undisputed champion of that weight division?
Absolutely.
He had all 4 belts. So that's why the WBA and their fuckery broke. But not all belts work like that. Now they're trying to change the record books, and these people are not going for it.
Do you reckon
they're not going for it? Yeah.
You reckon you could see a world if the WBA doesn't clean its act up, that the WBA gets shunned and the IBO comes in.
That's what's going to happen. That is exactly what's probably going to happen, Mr. Miyagi. The IBO is making their way. They got good champions with them belts. I did see with my own 2 eyes, Arthur Benavidez held that belt proudly. I also saw Demetrius Bivol come into their fight with that belt on the stage. Right next to his WBA title, it was the IBO. I've seen Stevie Kubo Fulton had the IBO. Joshua has the IBO. Usyk currently, right now, has the IBO. The other green belt is making its way. And they can say that belt was around those world champions already. And the WBA being the original, you would think they had their shit together. They're about to get pushed out. And the IBO's turn is soon to be next. Listen. The IBO, you just got to put in your blood, bro. You got to, you got to kill your share of people. What's up?
Yeah, look, this is what I'm talking about. Have a look at the chat.
What's up?
You got Real Power and Jeremiah Joseph going back and forth. Jeremiah says, I feel that Inoue could take out Ryan Garcia right now. And then they always go back to Up at Boxing Expert is saying Inoue got dropped by a little dude. What do you think Ryan does? Well, if we could blow Inoue up into 147 where Ryan's fighting, if that man could blow up to 147 or Ryan comes down to 130, if Ryan came down to 130 and Inoue went up, Inoue would destroy that man.
He would destroy him so bad. Yeah. No. Make no mistake. You can be a great Ryan fan and impressed by that massive left check hook. Just because one fighter or these other low-level fighters couldn't defend it, you're talking that's once again taking an average fighter like Ryan Garcia and actually putting him in comparison with an elite fighter such as Naoya Inoue. Unfortunately, that left check hook won't even come in. What good is it, Ryan's power in the check hook, if he can't land it? He'll never even come close. Naoya Inoue is nowhere near as sloppy-footed. Footwork, feet placement, timing, ring accuracy, and speed. Everyone that Ryan Garcia has ever come in the ring with couldn't hold Naoya Inoue's boxing gloves in the gym. They wouldn't be worthy. There isn't a fighter that comes on a skill level. Now talk about a skill gap. Are you really taking Ryan Garcia and the performance that Devin Haney came into and comparing him to who? An elite fighter? They shouldn't even be in the same conversation. I'm sorry, but Ryan Garcia has never fought for a world title. Not one. And Naoya Inoue is on his 24th consecutive world title fight. Even to spit around, bitball that idea, not even jokingly would I ever disrespect Naoya Inoue and think that Ryan Garcia can last 2 to 3 rounds with him in the ring in real life. And you want to know something? Right now in a sparring match, I wouldn't be scared to put Ryan Garcia in with Naoya Inoue on sparring. Ryan Garcia blows up. I get it. Naoya Inoue blows up a little bit too. I'm trying to tell you, if you really think you can bulldoze Naoya Inoue with those cat-like reflexes and that footwork, I just got to see that. Because in your mind, you're thinking Ryan Garcia is just going to run up and go boom, 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 boom to Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue, when Ryan starts going like this, he's going to be standing right here next to him. He's never going to catch up to him.
Man,
you're not going to trap him. You're not going to cut off the ring. No, you would have to put Naoya Inoue against Ryan Garcia against the smallest ring in the world. Then Ryan beats him. Because he could just grab him type shit, right? But you put me a legitimate ring. You give me Naoya Inoue's footwork. How is he going to trap him? Naoya's going to duck underneath that shit, switch aside, be in front of him. Ryan's slow ass is going to be turning around like this, taking like 4 shots. Blitz him if you want to. Naoya's just going to shuffle backwards. Bro, it's going to get ugly.
I could imagine that fight. You know how Tank hit Ryan with that slip counter with the
Yeah.
left. I could imagine that being Ryan would throw the left, Inoue would duck down to the right and throw an overhand left and catch Ryan straight on the fucking chin.
Oh man, he's too technical. These guys that Ryan fought like Tank's a slow starter. Naoya Inoue's electrifying from the first bell. There's no fighter you're gonna really compare. Tank got the power, and he actually beat Ryan. So, you know, it would just be a more skilled power ass whooping. Ryan couldn't track down Naoya Inoue. What? With those skills he fought Luke Campbell with? Name me a fight that Ryan was so skillful. In fact, his greatest victory against Devin Haney, he looked like shit. Like straight garbage. He turned his back to Devin Haney every round just to take a breather.
Yeah,
because he was so out of shape.
You don't want to do that to Inoue, do you?
Oh my God, Naoya Inoue would have crucified him right there. Are you guys serious? He would never stand a chance with Naoya Inoue. No way. There's no way.
Also, Edwin, a lot of people, when people, that just triggered me because I don't like Ryan at all. I really don't like Ryan. Do you know what? He's got such talent, Ryan Garcia.
Oh, he has a lot.
But he don't want to try. You know what? It's just it's like wasted talent. And then all of his antics, he just pisses me off. That's why I kind of went a bit.
Bro, I believe
when I saw them
in
comments,
Ryan.
it just annoys me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Miss Miyagi. Everything you said, I am the same way. He is wasted talent. The kid has talent. And remarkably, when you talk boxing with him, he's smart. He's smart. He's just too smart for himself. I think he thinks he knows it all, and he doesn't, because he knows some of the ins and outs. He doesn't train. I think he just relies on his speed and that check hook.
Isn't that why Eddie Reynoso kicked him out the first time? Because he was so
Took
hard.
Him back now, but look, man. The Ryan Garcia, man. He pisses me off, man. He could have been something else. I think he would have had a better career than Devin and everything, man. I think his opportunities were there. He just fucked them off. I think he's spiraled out of control as a young man with millions of dollars, man. It happens to the best of us. I'm not here to judge Ryan Garcia. I pray for him. I wish Ryan Garcia nothing but the best and the success. But you're right when you say that, man. Wasted talent, bro. You give me a prime, like real skilled Ryan Garcia now, that would be tough for Naoya Inoue to beat. But if I'm judging him based on the skills that he have in the last performance he showed, there's no way I believe that Ryan even catches up to Naoya Inoue. He doesn't even have the ability, the footwork, the ring IQ, or the understanding how to trap a man like that. It'd be a bad night for him.
Where's his jab?
Yeah,
he's got that fast left hand, but yet he can't put out a sniper like jab against Devin. Like, what is going on?
If he just trained and then just shut his mouth and let someone train him like a world-class coach rather than going into the training and trying to tell the coach what to do. That's Ryan's MO in every gym he's been in. He's always trying to outthink the coach and tell the coach, I'm going to train here 2 days with you and I'm going to train 3 days at home by myself. Ryan be on some bullshit. And that's how he used to train. He used to train in his living room with his brother and his dad 3 days out of the training week. And only come in on sparring days with Derek James or with Saul's coach there, Ed Reynoso. He just, you hit the nail right on the head with the hammer when you said he's just a definition of wasted talent, unfortunately. That's the best way I can break it down because I truly believe Ryan Garcia would have been or could be a way better fighter with all the skills that kid possesses. He should have been a way better fighter than what he is today. That's all I got to say about that. He hasn't reached his potential.
No. You know what? I just got to say another thing as well. For when you were saying about Inoue going to 126, how you're not worried for him anymore. I didn't know this, but do you know what ring weight Jamie McDonald came in at when he fought Inoue at 118?
What
143 pounds.
Wow.
At 118. So Inoue, the last two opponents Inoue's fought, Yejun Kim and TJ Doheny, have both been in the welterweight weight limit in the ring with that man. And there was an interview I was watching with one of his sparring partners, who, funny enough, Cardenas just beat. I think it was. What was his name? Begins with an A. I can't remember.
Acosta.
Brian Acosta. Yeah, he was saying he was in camp with Inoue for the Fulton fight, I think. And he said when he first, because apparently Inoue's camp's broken into two halves. When he first went out there, he was saying he went out there twice to spar for that Fulton fight, and he said the second time he fought Inoue, he wasn't as strong, but he was much more explosive, and that was after he started cutting weight, getting close to the ring weight. But when he first fought him at basically whatever weight he just started sparring and training at, and he said he was extremely strong, a little not as explosive, but extremely powerful. And I think the heavier Inoue gets, you'll see a little less movement, like fast foot speed, but you'll see he'll hit these men and it'll be devastating because he'll only get stronger as he gets closer to his walk around weight. Because I think even at his walk around weight, he's going to be extremely athletic anyway, because he's not like one of these men that blow up to, oversize or anything like that, because he's always training, eating healthy, staying active. I just can't. I really can't wait. I hope it all goes well. I hope he gets through Cardenas, because you never know. Gets through. I hope he silences all the MJ groupies out there, knocks him out, and then we'll see him at 126.
That's
I
the
can't
thing.
wait.
Yeah, that's the thing that like, unless you really like dive into it a little bit and you find out things like that, Jason McDonald, he was upward of 5'10", 5'9.5", 5'10". And he also fought the Frenchman, the Yo boy. He was tall too. So when I think about taller guys, and then, thank you to Nick Ball. Nick Ball wanted to put himself in the ring with someone that shared the ring with Naoya Inoue, and TJ Doheny was willing to, do that, which ironically, there was another man in the division that was in the ring with, and you could have unified with Stephen Kubo Fulton. But you chose to go the TJ Doheny route. Okay, fine. The problem was, as soon as I saw TJ Doheny in the ring with Nick Ball, I was like, which fighter moved up in weight? TJ Doheny was so much bigger than Nick Ball. And I mean in everything. It wasn't that he was just taller. He actually looked physically bigger. You can see the age, TJ Doheny, the way everything, you could see it, right? Okay, cool. But he was making Nick Ball look silly. And there was times in the ring, Nick Ball couldn't even hit him with little movement. I go back, I watched the Naoya TJ Doheny, and Naoya Inoue couldn't miss. He was picking TJ Doheny apart, darting in and out, making TJ Doheny miss big. He was making him look stupid. And them body shots and them shots to the head, they was like echoing him through his body. I'm going to tell you something right now. When I saw TJ Doheny, Naoya Inoue didn't look small against TJ Doheny at all. He didn't look small. Like, you go back and you look at that fight, man, he was right there with him. And when you saw Nick Ball and TJ, I was like, get the fuck out. And then Another thing I was looking at was Nick Ball's speed. That if he really had truly good speed and good power, well, then let's see when he throws the jab or he comes in with the 1-2, how he catches up to Nick Ball in comparison to when Naoya Inoue threw his jab. Nick Ball couldn't time that shit, could he? It was too fast. He was seeing Nick Ball's hands. It must have been like he was in the Matrix movie, because once you're in a ring with Naoya Inoue, everything else must look slow then, right? Or what? Because Nick Ball he would throw the one and it was so far off. And TJ Doheny was doing the same tactic, that leaning back, shuffling back move. Same move with Naoya Inoue. He just paid a different price. And it was just like, what? Well, look, check it out, right? Both of you, Tro and Joseph, right? For him to walk around, to fight at his walk around weight, okay, that's a little bit difficult, right? Because Joseph, you got to think about the weight that the dudes pack on at the end of the night when they cut in weight. You're going to give them an advantage, like a 20-pound advantage, if he was to fight on his walk-around weight, because after he made weight, he'd gain like 3 or 4 pounds if he's walking around his walk-around weight. There's no magic trick for you to be like, give me 16 more pounds the night of fight night. So whatever your walk-around weight is, if you're like Sabria Matias walks around 156. He fights at 140. That's what he walks around at. He's a true 140 pounder. Not like Conor Ben and these guys. They want to fight at 140 and they up here fighting at 160. They can fight 168, no problem. And like Devin was criticized for that, and like I'm pretty sure Sebastian Fundora could fight upwards of like, I don't know. I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got the frame to put, but could he put on that weight? I'm not sure.
Mate, that man's an alien.
Yeah, he has to be. That's just ridiculous, bro. That wasn't even fair. When you see guys fighting them, you're just like, this is not a fair fight. Who sanctioned this? And how does he make that weight? What, does he jump out of his skeleton? Like,
I think it was the same thing with Rafael Espinosa, but they're just them real lanky, skinny dudes, aren't they? They got just enough muscle to move about, and that's it. Oh, Sebastian Fundora, though, he's got his head's too small.
Yeah,
it's too small.
It's too small for his body, right?
Mate, when I saw him at the weigh-in, oh my god,
his arms are so long. Is it me?
He's
he looks like a praying mantis when he goes like that. Like, this covers like from his shoulder to his knee. It's like all defense, and then just a freaking another arm comes up like yo, man, it just looks like they didn't look like they should be fighting in the same fight, Booker and him, but I seen guys fight Sebastian Fundora better. I never thought he was like the best of the best skilled puncher. I never thought that just before he won the belt against Tim Tszyu. I never saw him like that. I looked at him as a puzzle, an anomaly of sorts, where that you look at him at first and then you see his fighting style and it doesn't make sense. You would think he would have fought longer. Instead, in the beginning of his career, he runs right up to the guy chest to chest and starts just in the air slugging it out.
That looks crazy.
Right? And he's just right here like, just taking shots. And he must feel so awkward. And he doesn't feel like his hands got power when he has to learn how to snap it. Pow, pow. He'll get better with it. But Sebastian, his sister, they're kind of like growing up in boxing too as well. I remember when I saw Sebastian when he was like a young fighter. I forget who he fought. I don't even remember the guy's name. I was like, look at this tall, lengthy motherfucker. He's gonna get knocked out. And he was fighting like a Mexican. He was in the inside like this, like slugging it out. I was like, what the hell is he doing? Back up, kid. Just back up and it's just his style. But look what happened at the end of the fight after the victory. Young Xander Zion tried to trap him while he was going into his locker room. Xander Zion stuck out his hand and was like, yo, congratulations in the victory and the win. He was like, you think we can get a little face off here? And he looked back to his promoter, the little dude with the glasses that said, we ain't kissing the ring, right? I forget his name. He's famous. He's famous. That's Joe Pesci. No, that's not Joe Pesci, but the dude, what's his name? The one with the can't believe I'm messing up his name. The movie actor there, the dude that did Heat. Robert De Niro. That's the Robert De Niro of boxing. That guy, that promoter, right? And he told him, nah, keep going. And they didn't let Sebastian Fundora and Xander Zion square up because even after the victory, after he beat Booker last night, right? Was it last night? Yeah, today's Sunday, right? When he beat him, he said that the WBO informed them that Terrence Crawford has relinquished the interim title. They never talked about the WBA one, the one he beat Ismail for, right? They didn't say, I didn't hear anything about that. But the interim, yes. So, which made Xander Zion the number one mandatory and potentially the next person a crack at his belt. The only thing that can stop that, like straight up, besides any boxing bullshit, if Sebastian Fundora wants to unify, if he wants to fight another champion, that trumps the mandatory. And then Xander Zion would have to wait. He can't say that Sebastian ducked him because the unification trumps the mandatory. That's always been like that. He would have to wait.
There's two things. I don't know if this ever would really happen with fighters of a heavier weight class. But do you know what would really benefit Sebastian Fundora in his fighting style? Getting tips and fighting technique off of Junto Nakatani, how he fights. He's not going to have the foot speed, but the way Junto throws his punches from long distance would complement Fundora perfectly. Because Junto also likes fighting on the inside when he needs to. And the second, I think he's going to be lining up, Fundora is going to be lining up for Murtazaliev unification. That's what I reckon is happening, what is going to happen.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's cheap, isn't he? He's not... He's
high but risk. That's a dangerous fight coming off that Ortiz fight still.
Oh, wait. Are you thinking of Madrimov?
Did I just think of Madrimov?
Yeah,
I did. I blanked out. I'm sorry. I'm going through trolls things, and I must have just blanked out because these guys are funny, man, right? Yeah. Troll and Jonathan here, right? And I was just I'm reading that Nakatani will fight for unified in the fall, which would put yeah. No, that guy got in the ring. Remember they shook hands in the ring after Junto Nakatani's fight? The other champion was sitting right there in attendance. After the fight, he came in, he challenged him with a smile, he bowed, and then they were like, yeah. So I knew that was going to happen anyway. Because if you're thinking, like I was thinking, that Junto and Naoya Inoue might meet up, I'm not sure if all you guys read this or saw it when I put it out, but Junto Nakatomi's coach was honest. And he said it. For as much as the fans want to believe it, he was like basically he's telling the world Junto's not ready for Naoya Inoue. He's not moving up, and there will be no Naoya Inoue fight. Well, Bob Arum and Top Rank with wishful thinking and trying to put Junto in that, fight with him. Junto's coach has already said Naoya Inoue was better if they was to fight. He had Naoya in the fight, and that right now Junto's not ready for him, but that there will become a time that he will be ready for him.
Did you? The more I watch those interviews of Rudy Hernandez talking about Nakatani versus Inoue, the first time they did an interview about it, he said, "Why would we go and have a tune-up?" Because they asked about a tune-up fight for Junto at 122, and he said, "Well, why would we do that? We'd do what Inoue did. We'll move up, use the WBO to get mandatory position, which they won't need to anyway, because that fight will get made." And we'll just fight him straight off rip. But the more the interviews I hear none of that now. It almost feels like Junto's going to move up. I reckon what's going to happen, Inoue might move to 126. He may hold one belt. He might keep hold of one world title, move up to 126, probably the WBA if he goes the Nick Ball route. He'll hold on to one belt, go up to 126, fight a world champion. If he wins, he'll move back down. I think Junto will move up, take a world title, try and fight for a world title off rip against someone. And so when Inoue moves back down to fight him, it'll be a unification, but it won't be undisputed. Because I can't see Inoue breaking his world title fight, but it's going to have to be something that makes sense. Like he'll honor a mandatory, so then he can move up one fight, so then it's not holding anyone back. But he will drop the belts. I mean, if he drops all of them belts when he moves to 126, he may stay up there until Junto gets a belt or two, and then fights him. Because I can't see him fighting for no belt.
Right. Okay. I see where you were going with this. Okay. How about this? Okay. All right. Naoya Inoue moves up to 126, and as we all know, you don't need all four belts to for the division to count. All you need is one belt at 126. That's 5 weight divisions. All you need is one. So whether he goes for the WBA, which that could be one of the ways, or the WBO, which would be his mandatory, which would be Espinoza, or a rematch with Stephen Kubo, Fulton, or fighting Angelo Leo that had a lot to say about Naoya Inoue. All 4 fights, all 4 champions, interesting fights, all good fights. I would want either one of them, so it doesn't matter. But the trick is here to win the belt, but once you already have a title, you are fighting for a world championship. Doesn't mean that Naoya's next fight in 126 has to be against another champion. It could be a title defense. His record continues on as fighting consistently in world title fights. While he maintains defending that belt there, Junto Nakatoni comes up, wins the belt at 122. So that if he wins the belt at 122, it's for a world title fight during the time Naoya Inoue is doing a title defense on the one belt he won at 126. Then cutting back down to 122, fighting Junto Nakatoni for a belt that he would have won on his very first shot, moving up to 122, a belt, in fact, that Naoya Inoue would have vacated.
There's a comment Jeremiah just put in the comments. Inoue says he's keeping all the 122 belts for Junto. But I can't see the Junto fight being in Saudi Arabia. Why on earth would they want that fight in Saudi Arabia? Like the Japanese people, they would want that in the Tokyo Dome in front of their own people. If that goes to Saudi, I'll be so disappointed.
Yeah. That fight has to happen in Japan.
See,
That's two Japan fighters.
This is what I mean. If Inoue fights Nick Ball, the sanctioning, but especially the IBF, they're not going to want. They're going to say, "What? Are you going to drop the belt?" He's not going to be able to hold on to all of them belts to move up. Surely he's got to be. Oh no, because Terence Crawford did it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Terence Crawford did it with the 140, with the 147, because there was just nobody at 140, and they wanted the sanctioning fees. As long as they sat on the shelf, they collected dust. But those sanctioning fees come around every month. So, Terence Crawford, he was in the glamour division type shit. They kind of protected him, but with Naoya Inoue's situation, you got too many fighters at 122 gonna be looking. Sam Goodman will never shut his mouth, and then you got Naoya Inoue up there at 122. The reason why Terence Crawford in recent days just vacated the 154 interim belt is because of they're saying his next fight will not be at 154. That he's training for allegedly Saul Canelo Alvarez at 168. So, but you want to know something? When we question a lot of these fighters, and this is why I see it hard for Naoya Inoue doing this, because that's not what his track record says. Now, is it? Naoya Inoue won all the belts at 118. He decided to move up his next weight division. He didn't hold those belts hostage not another hour. 30 days from achieving the highest honor in all of boxing. They tell you, Naoya, you don't have to vacate the belts. You can still go to 122. If you lose, come back down. You still got all 4 belts, right? What did he do? 30 days after winning all the belts, threw him back into the division. He said, I have no intentions on coming back down here. I'm going that way, and I'm going to be the champion. And not only am I going to be the champion, in my very first fight, who's the greatest champion you guys got up here? You? Let's go. You in the ring first then. And he knocks him out. That's Naoya Inoue things. That's Naoya Inoue life. That's not every boxer's life. That's why I say he's truly an elite fighter. They keep comparing him to him, but these guys are not doing what he was doing. And the way he was doing it, within 6 months of vacating 4 belts, which in fact it took him 2.5 years to get, right? Because it was during some corona epidemic time too. So he was working around that shit, coming off of it and things going back to schedule. So that kind of slowed him down. But left to his own devices, after everything was flowing as normal, shit, according to his record, it only took him 6 months to get all 4 belts. 6 months. He already had 4 belts in a new separate weight division with new names. That's it.
Edwin, who do you have? Who do you have as the number 126 champion right now?
The number 1 to 126 champion right now is gonna have to be. I
don't mean like skill wise. I don't mean skill wise, but I mean in terms of because all the champions up there have beaten someone for that belt. But I would argue, even though skill wise, Ball is not the best 126 pounder, but in accomplishments, he's fought 2 world champions. He fought Ray Vargas, and he got robbed in that WBC belt. I don't know how. He had 3 knockdowns, 1 weren't scored, and he was in there in the fight. Vargas was doing good work, but I couldn't. I could kind of see. I say he got robbed because there was a knockdown that wasn't counted, but there was good work in the rounds, by Vargas as well. Lots of good body work, but I can't see how that was a draw. And then he went on and fought Ray Ford, which was another close fight. I think that could have gone either way, that one, but he got the nod. He's the only champion up at 126 that has fought. He's fought 2 world champions. All the others have fought one man. So Espinosa beat Robeisy Ramirez in the first fight, and if Ramirez was a bit more offensively minded in that first fight, he could have knocked Espinosa out because he was on Bambi legs after that left hook. Angelo Leo knocked the sense out of Bernardo Lopez, and obviously Fulton just outclassed Figueroa for that WBC. But skill-wise, I'd have to say that Leo is probably one of the better, well-rounded fighters up at that weight. Because Espinosa, he's got some pop, and he's got obviously the height and that. But I think that, like you always say, there's ways of getting around that sort of height. There's advantages to it, but there's also massive disadvantages. Because I see a lot of lanky fighters. I mean, you could go to Sebastian Fundora. A guy gets on the inside, lands a big left hook over the top, and because you're so tall, you don't see it until it's on you, and that's it. It's too late.
Right.
And I could see the same happening. Well, it did happen to Rafael Espinosa. Got caught with that left hook by Robeisy Ramirez when he changed stances. But I don't know. Any of them fights would just be good. It doesn't.
Well, the question was, who do I think the best 126 pounder is right now? Then you said it really didn't have to be, I guess, accomplishment or, like that, or who I think the best skilled one. Or if we were talking about, a defending accomplishment, Espinosa's the best 126 pounder because Stephen Kubo Fulton just won his belt. He's never defended it. And Angelo Leo, he just won it. He's got a fight scheduled now, so he's coming into his first title defense right now. So he's and then when you look at Espinosa, right? Espinosa won the belt, defended the belt, and then rematched the guy that he beat the belt from. So if you give the guy you won the belt from, and you beat him twice, you can officially say you the champion. So what did
I'll give you that.
Stephen Kubo Fulton and Fundora fight for? Basically, that was a vacant belt. I know he came into the fight, they upgraded him, whatever, but and then Angelo Leo, right? Okay, and Angelo Leo probably got the most impressive because the streak that Lewis there was on, that he was on fire. I remember he beat Flores, that kid. He beat him up, man. And when Angelo Leo came into that fight right there, I saw the fight when he fought Stephen Kubo Fulton. He had that brace on. He looked like a different fighter to where the fighter that he is today. The punch came out of nowhere. He hit him right there, boom. He knocked him out. I'm not sure if it was knockout of the year at that time, or it was candidate. I think it was definitely candidate or whatever. And it was this year. Well, shit. So it has to finish. So I'm not sure if I can just count a knockout and say just because you knocked out the guy in brutal fashion that awards you the best up there. I'm not sure.
Touched up in that fight as well. Bernardo was hitting him with some big shots.
But Espinosa did the more work since he had the belt. And he's got the bigger lead. Opinion wise, I think Espinosa's a dirty fighter. But I don't like him as much as I once did. I saw the elbows he hit Robeisy with. Leo got his knockout straight up. He got his shit straight up, like a real gladiator in there. There's no controversy to it. When you got controversy as Espinosa, so you hear me talk all the time, Mr. Miyagi. I'm always gonna give you the good and the other side to it. And I know what people are gonna say. Espinosa's got this much, and now I'm pointing out the other side to it. If we think the strongest out of all of them, if Stephen Kubo Fulton was to fight Leo again, which I think that's a brilliant fight, and I think that should happen. I think Leo beats him this time. I think Leo might beat Stephen Kubo Fulton.
Do you know what? That's a fight. I hear that because I bounce around a lot of channels, and that's a fight. Everyone keeps saying that, but it's like what they said, because when Fulton went into the Figueroa 2, when I look at fighters that he's fought, Mugsayo was one that really impressed me, because Mugsayo, that Figueroa, when I think about chins, like if Inoue was to go up to 126, everyone's saying Figueroa's a problem, and to be honest, I think he would just get touched up by Inoue. But the way that man was getting hit with them shots from Mugsayo, he's a punch. He's not his record doesn't show that he's a massive puncher, but he's got some pop on there. He was hitting Figueroa clean, and that man just kept moving. I couldn't believe it. I thought there's one man that Inoue would probably go 12 rounds. He would beat him outright. It would be an easy UD, but maybe even drop him a few times. But there's a man that he's not going to, Inoue is probably not going to stop. He'll go the full 12 rounds, but he'll win. But when I see Fulton went up and just schooled him. I could see the fight almost going the same way as the first one, but Leo now definitely has much better footwork than when he fought him the first time. He seems a lot more invigorated at 126, but at the same time, Fulton, when he fought Figueroa that first time, that was a nasty fight. That was a brutal, just inside fighting constantly. And the second fight, that was just a slick performance, like slipping shots, countering, bringing Figueroa onto shots. Much more. Obviously, they fought once already, but that was, over 2 years ago.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. It's one of those fights you'd have to see. It's like the same thing with Nick Ball beat Rafael Espinosa? I'd love to see it. Like, I just want to see it.
Right. I respect that. Yo, for as far as Bam Bam Rodriguez goes, that fight with Naoya Inoue, I don't think it'll ever happen. But if in a good world, I would still watch a Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue, I would actually want that fight at 118. I would like to see Bam Rodriguez at least move up to 118, right? And I'll put the 118 version of Naoya Inoue in there with Bam. I wouldn't want Bam to fight Naoya Inoue at 122. I think that's too much. So I would want Naoya Inoue to give some, right? And if Bam could get up to 118, I would want Naoya Inoue to lose weight, because I think Naoya Inoue is faster there. And you're going to be dealing with a speed demon like Bam Rodriguez. So I want Naoya Inoue to keep some of his speed. In fact, the version we're watching now of Naoya Inoue, whether you realize it or not, he's a tad bit slower than he was at 118. He's still smart, still accurate with his shots, but he is, and I have to admit it, he's just a little bit slower at 122 than what we're typically seeing him like at 115. Like a lot of the fights that I did earlier in the video, they were really, they showed his real speed. And the problem with a lot of the fighters like that couldn't fight, like Usyk was a cruiserweight that was a big man. He was used to watching faster fighters. When he went up to the heavyweight, they must have looked real slow to him. And as long as he had the size to endure and the blazing speed, because his body record him training at a lighter weight. So sometimes the smaller, but not so far away from your division guy, where the jump wouldn't have been, too hard to do, And once you're like a heavyweight, you're a heavyweight. You're cracking at that size. It's just a certain amount of weight. It's kind of like dead weight. Either you crack or you don't. At that size, it's only going to take so much to knock you out anyway. Anything over that punch is just extra. You're still getting knocked out.
I've got to ask this, Edwin. Yeah. Like, obviously, you see, I think 118 pounds in a way is, if he stayed at that weight, he would probably go down.
He couldn't. No, they can't beat Naoya Inoue in his real weight. That's why we're encouraging him to go up. He'd stay undefeated forever. I don't care who you got. You have to get an alien.
Inoue versus Nakatani at 118 pounds.
And Sam Goodman in the back ring with a bat. And Luis Pantera Nari shooting him with a pellet gun from outside. Now it'd be fair. You're not beating him at 118. You're not beating him at 115. They were never going to beat him. Chocolatito knew it. They all knew it. I couldn't see it, but these guys were professional fighters running from him. Donaire, bless his brave soul. The warrior that he is, he tried to get in front of that train twice. Severely paid for it. Even the most skilled fighters. I truly believe Naoya Inoue, at some point, he even himself started to dull it down. But if that guy comes out of nowhere once again, like he got into those real good firefights with some of these Japanese dudes, it was electrifying. And then at some point, Naoya Inoue is like, damn, man, I might have let myself get into a little fight here. And, he got the rounds in, and then whenever you want to see him reveal his true self, like it's kind of like piss him off if you want to. He'll reveal the real Naoya Inoue will show up. When Yi Young Kim was mocking him and he slapped him upside the head, bam, and you heard that shot. Yi Young Kim goes against the rope and goes, come on. And if you don't think Naoya Inoue heard all those takes of what he said he was going to do to Naoya Inoue, and then I'm not so familiar with the rivalry of North Korea or whatever Korea and Japan is, but I know Japan is up there in the food chain when it comes to the Asian dudes. They're like the top dude, just like Spain is to us, right? Okay. So it's like he encouraged Naoya, and Naoya's true self came out. And he said, because, see, at this point, Yi Young Kim is under the impression, I can take your punch. See, you just hit me. I'm standing here. Naoya Inoue, it looked like the dragon just came out from in back of him. And he went, bro, you really want me to? Because mind you, it wasn't a combination of punches. It was one punch. Naoya Inoue was bounced on the front of his tip and he was shaking him down and he went like this. And Naoya said, you really want me to hit you? That's when the dragon came out and the real Naoya Inoue came out to play. And he went, let me show you this entire time you haven't been taking my punch. Because if I want to hit you like this is what it feels like. And he laid him out. The difference between that sound punch and any other punch he threw in the round. Which means that, bro, he was just hitting you with what he wanted to. He pissed Naoya off. He was trying to tell the world, look, I can take one of your punches. Naoya's like, bro, you can't take my punch. He was like, you want to see the real Naoya Inoue? It was like, he went, boom, bro. Yo, that shit sound like a fucking shotgun blast, bro. And with like, and then you think of that saying, real skill comes with very little effort. It looked effortless. No wind up, no nothing. Walked off, gave him the look. He knew. My man was asking for it. This is what I'll give you what you came for. The whole time he's thinking he's taking Naoya Inoue punches. The whole time those Japanese dudes that he went in wars with thought they were taking Naoya Inoue. No. Naoya Inoue, he just wanted a fight. He wanted that fight. He wanted to get some rounds in. He allowed you to stick around. And then at some point in the fight, he tried to hit you with it, and you might have not caught you or whatever. And his father told him, Naoya, today, you are not knocking this guy out. The last fight, you knocked out the guy in the first round. The last fight after that, you knocked him out in the second round. The fight after that, you knocked him out in the first round. Naoya, we need some rounds. Don't knock this guy out. I've seen that before. I've seen it. And I've seen him dole down his punches. Then I seen him turn it up. I seen him take off punches when he was going to knock out Stephen Kubo Fulton. He saved that man's life. I know what I'm looking at. I'm telling you. And piss him off if you want to. Emmanuel Rodriguez, he showed him no mercy. The first clean shot, he hit Emmanuel. Emmanuel went down, bro. You see them body shots, bro? That's the real Naoya Inoue right there. When he wants to show up, it's a short night for anyone. It's kind of hard to guess how he's going to come out. When he got hit by Luis Pantera Nari, he was a little bit more embarrassed than afraid. He knew he went down for the first time. He knew he had to clean the cobwebs. And then he had to figure out in his head, what the fuck just happened? And a lot of things are going through his head. And then at the same time, he's keeping maximum control of himself. And he's trying to find the angle to get one back. The minute, and I mean the minute, Lewis tried to blitz him, he slid back, check, pop, Paul caught him, sat him on his ass. That he smacked his gloves together. That's where the confidence came. He took over the fight. You know, real interesting, unique shit. Not every man responds the same way. Some men get dropped for the first time and they shell up. They concede and I don't want to get hit like that again. Not every man responds like that, you know, and sometimes you can't, I don't know, you know, you might be looking good your first 14 fights and then all of a sudden your first time at adversity that you're challenged in a fight, you fold, you know, and then you'll see what he was made of, you know. It's all, you know, so yeah.
That Neri fight, when I was watching that live, funny enough, I had your stream up while I was watching it. And did you notice that I put that again? There's certain things in that knockdown that I put that caused that. Inoue had no respect for Luis Neri in that first round. The way he was throwing them shots in, and when he went on the inside, I was surprised because he hit Neri with that left uppercut as Neri came in, and the way he then went to go and throw a punch straight off it, I'm like, I remember couldn't realise it when I first watched it, but I watched the fight a few more times. I'm thinking, since when does Inoue get into a close clinching position like that and then start throwing shots like that with no defence? The only time I could ever see him doing that was against the Emmanuel Rodriguez fight, when he threw the right hook to the body and then he slung the left, when he's just like, I'm just trying to get you out. And that's what that looked like to me, like he was just going to swing a right with all of his power, but he got caught for it because he didn't take him seriously in that first bit. He just wanted to get him out of there. And then what happened after he got dropped? He tightened it up, so then he took him seriously, and Neri couldn't do anything. Lost every round, got dropped twice, and then got knocked out on that. That right hand, I still can't. You watched the live feed of it on ESPN of Inoue's final, the right uppercut, right straight. That looks quick, and then you hear it ringside where they've got I don't know if it was seconds out or it might have been a Japanese thing. There was a guy ringside recording it. You couldn't even see that punch from ringside. It was that quick, and it sounded like if someone had a bat and you were smashing it against a leather sofa. Like it was. I still to this day I look back at that punch because people were trying to compare it with how Tank finished Frank Martin.
Right.
With a left uppercut and a left straight, and I'm like, there's no similarities. Man, that was a quick combination, and he blocked when he brought the punch back down from the right uppercut. Brought it back down. He defended the body shot that Luis threw, and then just turned his. All he did was turn his upper torso and just snapped it.
I don't know where the power came from. I was like, it didn't come from his twist. It didn't come from his legs. It really can't say that it came all shoulder. Like, it was the way, he literally like 1.5 inch punched him. Like some Bruce Lee like shit. He went like, it looked like that, right? He didn't have any momentum. Like, it wasn't like his body was going forward. He just hit Luis Pantera with the uppercut. Like you said, he blocked the body shot and then just shot it off from like here to here. It's and then the violent nature, Luis Pantera Narvaez's neck snapback, and then you saw his mouthpiece he didn't know where he was. Like he was like boom, like, and then right. I'm looking at his eyes when he gets hit with the uppercut, right? I'm saying to myself, is he out? Like Frank the Ghost Martin was out on his feet with the uppercut. Then Tank hit him with the other shot. But he was already hurt, like he was like drifting off, right? With the uppercut. When Naoya Inoue hit Luis Pantera Nari with the uppercut, when he hit him, boom. When he hit him, he was coming up. You look into his eyes. He was still together. He got hit hard, yes. But he was still together. He was still looking at. It wasn't like he got hit with the uppercut and he was on his way down. And then he happened to hit him with the other shot. No. He still had wits about himself. Not like Frank the Ghost Martin. Frank the Ghost Martin, after the uppercut, he was out on his feet. He was already out. He was like, cool. He was out on his feet. And it didn't make any sense the way the shot with Naoya. That's why I got to go to Las Vegas and watch him. That's exactly why I'm going to Vegas to go see him and to try to experience the Naoya Inoue experience. I got to see what this looks like firsthand. I really do. My second thing, I want to see him with all the belts. I want to see that up close in person. And I just this would not be 5. It won't be a super. And the guy reminded me the other day when he was talking about it. He was like, I want to defend the WBO super 5 times. So I want to turn it into a super belt and shit like Terrence Crawford had and shit. And I wanted to see what his belts look like now. But in fact, I don't think it'll be a super. Not yet. It should be by now. Because he kind of like went from the 118 to... He was never defeated for that organization. They should freaking give it to him. What is this right now? This is 4, right?
Yeah, MJ... no, this should be
4
3.
times he defends the belts, right?
No, because he won it against Tapales.
No.
And then,
no, he didn't. He won it against Stephen Kubo Fulton.
What, are we talking about the WBA?
WBO.
Oh, WBO. Yeah, no, this is the Marlon Tapales, Neri, TJ Doheny, Yi Drink. Ah, no, that is this one now in Las Vegas would be he would get the super.
That would be 5, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if he wins the Las Vegas fight, he should have a lovely new belt.
They should have the
MJ
super on
fight.
hand for him. Yeah. That'll be cool. Maybe they'll give it to him in the ring. Let's see. And that'll turn into a super because he used the WBO rule to get to Stephen Kubo Fulton. He said, you don't need to do that. I'll fight you anyway.
Do you know,
and
I wonder...
He had the WBC, WBOs, yeah.
I know it's not... I don't know, because it depends how the sanctioning body president feels about the change, but he's been a faithful WBO champion for the last 3 weight classes. So would they not say, do you know what, for such a champion that's been with us for so long, and
they could
basically proven himself, why
he's proven himself. Yep, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Even with the WBA as well, because I know the WBA is, they say you must defend it 5 times to get the WBA super.
Right.
But God, he might have. Do you know what? For the Cardenas fight, he might come walking in with some crazy gold on him.
Yeah. Or after the fight, they might strap him up with some crazy gold. The new belts.
You won't even see. You wouldn't even see Inoue behind all them belts.
Oh my God, bro, that would be fucking crazy, man. Because you're right. Now that I think about it, he had the WBA also as well at 118, 122.
Yeah, because that was his first belt. He won at 118.
Yeah, and then he's got a lot of fucking time with all the organizations 4 and 4, so he's got good relationship with them. If they trick out all his belts and make them like the tops, which I believe it's worthy. You know what I mean? It's worthy. And then it looks better for the other fighters, and there's just more at stake. You know, when he comes out after that, putting those kind of belts on the line with either MJ, he stays in the division, fights MJ, which a lot of people, I want to see the fight with MJ. Yes, I do. I want to see it. I'm not going to say I don't. But anything less than MJ or moving up in weight at this point, no more Sam Goodman fights. Listen, brother, you lost your place in line. I'm sorry. Okay, I wouldn't even do business with you if I'm being honest. So it's either MJ or 126, and what do you in a good world, does he stay at 126 one more time, fight in Riyadh season, and then at the end of the year fight Nick Ball like the rumor stated? Is that what we want? I mean, it doesn't sound bad to me. I don't see anything wrong in it. Or would you just take the 126 jump right now? You're tired of the 122 and MJ's really not a fight anymore for you. What side are you on? Leave it in the comments, people. Yep, what's up? So let me know.
You know, I could have seen Inoue if TJ Doheny beat Nick Ball. I could have just seen Inoue and his team going, do you know what? Fuck it. We'll fight Cardenas. Or no, because
why not?
No, because they weren't quite signed yet. He could have turned round. He could have turned round and said, you know what? I'm moving to 126. Give me someone in the featherweight. And it might have been Rafael Espinoza instead of that defense at Cinco de Mayo. That would have been crazy. But
yeah, you take Rafael he's a Mexican. Yeah.
That would, do you know what? There's so many things you could think of if you were trying to manage that man's career. Because already one fighter that he's fought, that he dominated, has gone up a weight division and fought a belt and won a world title. You know, not from an established champion, but a dangerous fighter nonetheless, a very tough fighter that you have to outskill him or he's going to wear you down. because I can't see. It's very hard to see someone knocking out Brandon Figueroa until that time that he does get knocked out, because he's one of those guys. I almost imagine him like the Joe Joyce of the featherweight division. He was the Terminator until he wasn't. All of his fights, he would just walk through all the punches and just wear you down and then eventually knock you out.
Now he became chinny.
Yeah. And that will happen at some point with Brandon if he doesn't clean up his fighting style.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've got the way TJ Doheny fought Nick Ball,
yep.
You know, I could almost see if Nick Ball fights Stephen Fulton, and let's say Stephen Fulton outpoints Nick Ball and wins, I could actually see Inoue just, you know, their team just going, do you know what, forget about MJ.
Right.
And we're just going to move up. But there's too many. The more weight classes Inoue goes up, the more political crap happens.
Right.
This is what I don't like, because it's only since he got into the 122 that he started having all these stupid issues with these fighters.
You notice that?
Like, yeah, this man's got everything you want as a fighter. He brings the belts. He brings the notoriety for your career. And what does he also bring as well? The money.
Yeah.
Like, Fulton getting paid, what was it, like, just a little bit over $3 million for that fight? And yeah, he had to travel, but, you know, who's paying $3 million for a super bantamweight in America?
No
one. Man, they didn't even pay, what was the highest purse for Roman Gonzalez? 500,000?
That's it. I think it was 3 actually, but
like, you can't even compare. Like, when I saw the figures on how much Inoue was earning, and the figures for the Donaire 2 fight from all them years ago, like for their viewing rate and the pay-per-view sales, it's just crazy. It's just crazy, and this is why I don't understand. Again, for the fighters in America, you know, American fans always seem to laugh about, oh, Anthony Joshua can fill out a stadium, but it's like, you know, $40 seats. But that's what you want. You want 90,000 people following you. That's how you get your fan base. And then when the big fights happen, those seats that could be $40 are now 120.
right.
Because everyone wants to see it. You just build and build and build. And this is exactly how Inoue got a country behind him. He started off in little, you know, the Ariake Arena's not a big venue, but he always sells it out.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who he's fighting, those seats, they may have been, you know, bumped up 200%, you know, for certain fights.
Right.
You don't know. Like, God knows how much the Tokyo Dome seats were.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. But that was 54,000 people there, bro.
Man,
no,
did
ringside.
you watch Sorry, go ahead.
No, I say like right now in comparison, right? In the Las Vegas, you know, anywhere in the middle surrounding, you were gonna pay anywhere upwards of $1,400 to $400, anywhere in between there. And then the upper bleachers are $225, like right around there. I didn't see any $100 seat Naoya Inoue tickets in Vegas now. I didn't see anything, but Top Rank always gives you good prices. They give you these are good prices for these kind of fights, because compared to Gervonta Davis tickets, it was stupid, right? So these tickets, in fact, I was surprised that the price that Top Rank gave us for the tickets, and I was surprised at the amount of money I paid for my tickets and where I'm going to be sitting at in the fight. So I'm pretty happy with it. So when we look at, like, you know, the pricing and everything, you know, unfortunately, that's the business side of boxing. Sometimes your promoter can ask for a little too much. Ryan Garcia found that out the hard way, fucking around with Golden Boy. And I think they kind of priced themselves out on those ticket seats, with Ryan being early in his career, not really fighting anybody. And he found himself giving away tickets just to try to pack in the place at the end of the day, right? And they got him down for like $25 or some shit, I heard. But these are all the gimmicks that some of these promoters do to each other and so forth, you know. And but that's just the business side of boxing, you know. So fight fans, I gotta get something to eat. I gotta get out of here. I've been out for quite some times. Yo, Mr.
3.5 hours.
Miyagi, thank you for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? You're always the man. You're always welcome to come up in here and talk boxing. I always have a great time when you come by. So fight fans, do me a fight favor and hit that like button for me. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Mr. Miyagi, any words before we leave?
Just cheers for letting me on. It's always I
Yes.
always love talking boxing.
Absolutely.
And have a good night because it's like it's like 11:15 here at night.
Oh yeah. It's
so until then-
7:19 over here.
7:19.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
so
about to
you're
go
like-
get something to eat.
Right. Well, you have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one, Edwin.
And I'll catch you on the next one. All right, brother. Have a
See
good
you
one.
later.
Hey, fight fans. See you guys on the next one. I'm out.